Welcome everyone to Whistler Olympic Park, nestled in the Callahan Valley here in beautiful British Columbia. Hey everyone, it's the FIS Nordic Junior and U23 World Ski Championships. 10 days of competition, cross-country, ski jumping, and Nordic combined. It's day 2 here for the U23 sprints today. I'm Steve Scholes, your host, and I've got Tim Wintanu here, longtime coach and wax tech here in Canada. Tim, the U23 men's and women's sprints coming up today.
What a day, Steve. Look, the sun is shining, the tracks are solid. We just had the qualification round to set us up for the heats. It's going to be the top 30 women and top 30 men competing out. And we saw yesterday how awesome and exciting those races were. And we are set to have just as an amazing race today.
Yeah, so let's take a quick look back at yesterday's racing action with the junior men and junior women. Okay, so here is the start of our junior women's final, Tim. What a slugfest it was.
Yeah, Steve, that was an exciting race. As you can see, Toivonen went for the lead early right off the start on that initial climb, and she tried to just maintain it right start to finish, as she did in every single heat.
But then Andreasen went to the front on Heartbreak Corner, moved to the front, but then Toivonen moved back to the front, led through the stadium with the big double pulling, and she takes the win in a nail biter, and then the lunge between Eriksson and Andreasen.
Exactly. That finishing straight was one of the closest finishes I've seen in sprint racing this season.
So Toivonen, your junior world champion yesterday. What a battle that was. Andreasen in second by 1/10 of a second, Eriksson in third, Nadine Laurent of Italy in fourth, Martin Pinter in fifth.
But Steve, those 6 women, any one of them could have won yesterday, and that's what made for an exciting race.
So coming up next is our men's final. That was another great battle for a world championship. 3 Norwegians, 2 Swedes, and 1 Finn in the final, an all Scandinavian final. The Swedes leading it out. We had
yeah, we
107 Danielson and 104 Grahn.
We saw a little more back and forth in that men's final here as they came around the corner, and the Norwegians here put a big surge in to take over the lead, and had a strong lead into the stadium there until the very end finishing straight when Grahn came through, just powered his way across the finish.
And Grahn takes it. And his teammate Danielson in second, and third was Eero Rantsala of Finland. 2 Swedes and a Finn on the podium. Fourth place, Matthias Holbeck, Grönhagen in 5th, Kollerud in 6th. So the Swedes and the Finns take the top 3 spots. Okay, so now coming up today, it is the under 23 sprint day for the U23 men and the U23 women. And so that is coming up today here at Whistler Olympic Park. And what a beautiful day it is, Tim.
It is gorgeous. And here we can see our top 30 women. Steve, who are some of your favorites out there today?
Oh, I think the top qualifier, Yasmin Carrara. She has 2 top 20 in the World Cup recently. What are some other favorites for you, Tim?
Yeah, for me, I think Moa Hansen, sprint champ from last year, U23. It was a skate sprint. This year it is classic technique, but you can't rule her out for some strong sprinting today.
And just looking at our Americans, Novi McCabe, an interesting qualifier, 24th, normally a distance athlete, and Sydney Palmer-Ledger just squeaking in into the heats.
Sydney had some awesome sprint races early on in Silver Star in end of November, beginning of December, and also a Super Tour in Sun Valley.
Yeah, Novi from Meadow Valley, just south of here in Washington State, and Sydney Palmer-Ledger from Park City, Utah. Both University of Utah teammates are into the heats for the U23 women. So we'll start off with the women, but also our U23 men's sprint heats. So Tim, what are a couple of your favorites?
Well, my one favorite who I really want to see was JC Schoonmaker, who is not in the top 30. He had a crash out on the qualifier, broke a pole, and so he is not going through. But another American, Luke Jagger, competed at the Olympics, was really strong here last year at our nationals. So watch for him. Here we go, watching the qualifier as Skoondog went down, broke a pole. And I believe it was a Swiss coach who ended up getting him a pole later on in the stadium.
But you could see that was a tough spot to break a pole in that corner on the downhill. Okay, so we're going to go down to Tom Stevens shortly. Tom, you may know, was a silver medalist at the 2020 World Junior Championships in the relay for Team Canada. We're just going to go down to Tom for some discussion of the course today.
Hey, thanks guys. It's looking like a really exciting day. Snow is really firm and the sun is out, which is not typical for Whistler, but it's going to be exciting. 2 points on the course for me that are really important are Heartbreak Corner. Yesterday we saw a Canadian take it really great and set him up good for the finishing straight. So it's going to be really important for the heats coming up today. Yesterday, also super close heats. The course is set up that way, and we saw some tactical moves up top in the course where racers almost stopped racing just to let other racers take the lead for the finishing downhill. So that's going to be super important, and keep an eye out for that. So yeah, thanks. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Tom. That was great to get that insight from a medalist from the World Junior Championships a few years back. And Tim, this is the course profile for the U23 sprint coming up.
Yeah, so right off the start is a straight, and as soon as they start cornering, you can see they're going to climb the biggest climb of the day to the top of the course, and then that sets them up to that descent of Heartbreak Corner, which Tom mentioned, and I believe we're going to see some clips from yesterday of that corner, that 180-degree turn, and then it's a downhill into the stadium, a long double pole to the finish.
Yeah, Tim, there was a lot of drama on Heartbreak Corner, and we're going to see some of the highlights or lowlights of that.
Yeah, so there was Lisa Eriksson going down, crashing. We saw numerous crashes here again. I believe another crash comes.
One of the Swiss skiers.
And so when you're side by side with 6 racers coming down, it makes things super tight, super interesting how you ski it. You know, they're clipped a pole. Went down, so there's chances of breaking equipment, trying to fight back. Again, this is the final descent into the stadium.
That was Roman Eider from Switzerland. Yeah. So frustrated on that descent.
So that's just the lead up to some of the action we are going to see today. And so one highlight I want to really mention is Zav McKeever. Yesterday in the heats, he probably skied that corner the best out of any athlete out there yesterday. And so here we can see him coming in. He's sitting there in 5th place right now, but he goes really wide and then cuts in. And as we exit out of the corner, he's moved up into 2nd place almost effortlessly. And so by far skied that corner the best out of everyone. And I hope to see some U23 athletes skiing it exactly as he skied it.
And I was talking to some of the Americans, and they were saying they watched that and they want to feed off that today. That was really cool by Xavier McKeever in that corner there. And that corner is going to be important, I think, throughout today. That's going to be an important part of this course.
Yeah, we are seeing temperatures, you know, a little lower than yesterday, so that corner should hold up pretty solid. It did start to break down yesterday, and so depending on how much it breaks down, how much skidding happens, and if there's any ice, might affect how many crashes we see there today.
Yeah, and you can see the wax techs there working away, getting the skis ready. And, you know, we talked about not only is there so many athletes, but so many coaches and wax techs here, over 300 coaches and wax techs. And see some of the spectators here at beautiful Whistler Olympic Park. Look at the bluebird sky there. What a day to watch some ski racing here at this Olympic venue in 2010. And there's a lot of tie-ins to the Olympics that we're going to highlight through this race. Several of the children of Olympians that raced in 2010 are racing here today in Whistler Olympic Park. This is the biggest event at Whistler Olympic Park since those Vancouver Olympics in 2010 for the Nordic events. And so it's going to be a great day to watch. Okay, welcome everyone to Whistler Olympic Park for the FIS Nordic Junior and U23 World Ski Championships. Today is the U23 Sprint Heats. We got some medals to award. We got a World Championship to award. As we saw in some of the highlights, it's going to be extremely exciting and some carnage and chaos out there on this course.
Steve, yesterday was an awesome day of racing, and it's setting tons of action up for today with the U23 category.
And the sun is shining. You know, the mountains want to look down on these races. It's just been so exciting yesterday and today. Again, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, so this venue for the 2010 Winter Olympics, those were such great, exciting events. And one of the athletes, we'll just throw out a name right now, Lars Hjelmset, his dad won a silver medal here in 2010 in the relay for Norway. And we'll be highlighting that, I think, throughout the day. Lots to talk about there. And there you see the Olympic rings looking down on the start where the sprint will be. And you can see this big stadium, such an iconic stadium from those Olympics.
And today, slightly colder than yesterday. However, that just makes those tracks that much more solid. Talking to those groomers again, you know, that's their biggest concern is, will those classic tracks hold up throughout a day of racing? And with these temperatures, sun shining, things will stay solid for those racers.
Yeah, it's definitely cooler than what we saw yesterday, but it's, as Tim said, very firm track, very fast. There we see one of the American athletes getting ready. This was just before the qualifiers. Getting ready for the qualifiers, and as Tim mentioned, JC Schoonmaker, Schoondog, one of the favorites, not able to make it to the heats because of the crash. There's Luke Jagger, one of the American favorites.
The Jaggermeister.
The Jaggermeister is here in the house racing in the heats. Always a fan favorite. And there we go. There's our heats, our 5 heats for the women. The top 2 will move on. And Tim, again, some of the names to highlight.
Yasmin Kahara, who is qualified first. She's had a couple of top 20s on the World Cup. She is looking strong and is going to be one to beat out there.
Yeah, Moa Hansen from Sweden, the skate sprint champion from last year's U23 World Championships in Norway. This is a classic sprint, but she did qualify 5th, looking good for a good shot at a medal here in the classic sprints. Also, again, a couple Americans, Novi McCabe and Sydney Palmer-Ledger. No Canadians in the final, but also just to note, 2 Estonians, Katie and Kaidi Kasakiu, twins in the heats. Both of the Estonian twins, Katie and Kaidi Kasakiu, in the heats. And they're not in the same heat to start off, but it'll be interesting if they go in the semifinal somehow.
That would have been something if they were racing against each other in the same heat.
Okay, so we also have our men racing as well. So here's our course profile, Tim, and take us through it.
Yeah, so off the start, it's a slight downhill into that straight. As they make the first left-hander, they go into their first climb, which is the longest climb of the day. Takes them to the top of the course, and then sets them up for that 180-degree turn, which we are calling Heartbreak Corner. We saw yesterday lots of crashes, carnage. We'll see how these athletes take that corner today. And then the final corner is a big swooping descent into the big, long stadium. Lots of double pulling as they make their way around to that finishing straight.
Yeah, that's a perfect description of this course. And that was Schoonmaker, 102 before the qualifier, not able to make it through, one of the top skiers.
Yeah, he was definitely one of our favorites for today. He just recently placed 7th on the World Cup a couple weeks ago, and so he had a crash, broke a pole, and did not advance into the top 30.
Okay, there we go. Our first heat is coming up very shortly. So we've got from Finland, Kahara and Sari. Also, Hedda Bakamo from Norway. Then also in there, Ella Olsen from Sweden, Verena Veit, Germany, and Sydney Palmer-Ledger from the U.S. Now, with the U.S. athlete, Sydney Palmer-Ledger, she some interesting things about her, Tim.
Yeah, so she's had a strong season already here in North America as she sprinted in Sovereign Lakes and also Super Tour in Sun Valley. But Steve, I would say there's 3 of my top favorites are in this heat, which is going to make things really interesting. The 3 that I would like to see in the finals are here going head-to-head, and Sydney Palmer-Ledger being one of those.
Yeah, so our top qualifier, Yasmin Kahara, 2 top 20 finishes on the World Cup on her CV. Amanda Sari, 10th qualifier, Hedda Bakamo, 11th qualifier, and Sydney Palmer-Ledger, 30th from the USA, just making it in.
And Hedda, she's had a couple top 10 results there on the Norwegian races in a really strong field.
Yeah, so a little bit of a stumble there by Sydney Palmer-Ledger, number 30, but she's getting back into it. And then we've got this climb, Tim.
Yes, it's still early in the race. As you can see, Sydney's now back in contact with those rest of the field there. And yeah, it's so early in the race. It really, whoa. And who is that? Number 11 there, Bakamo, who's going for that inside. She's skiing it identical to how Andreasen had skied it yesterday. Took the inside out of the track and now is in the lead to take control of the race.
Now that's a little bit of a risky maneuver because the Finnish skier could have moved to the inside and cut her off, but she got through on the inside. Now she's moving to the front. There's this little plateau, and then they go up to the second stage of that climb to the top part of the course. So that is Yasmin Kahara in front, and number 11, the Norwegian in red, Hedda Bakamo.
And Steve, these 2 women here are some of my favorites to see in the final. So hopefully they continue being in the lead and make it through to the next round.
Okay, so they're over the top of the course, Tim. This is our first heat. Sydney Palmer-Ledger trying to get back in here, but it's not. She's still got a chance here. This is the long descent, and now the first time through Heartbreak Corner, Tim.
Let's see how these women stay on their feet here, how they take this corner. Well, a couple little stumbles, but it seems like everyone's staying upright around the corner.
And that is Yasmin Kahara safely through.
Yeah, safely through, first time through Heartbreak Corner, and everyone survived.
Okay, Yasmin Kahara pushing the pace here, trying to control her destiny. Then Amanda Sari sitting in 10th spot. Sorry, number 10 sitting in 2nd spot.
An interesting note, and sorry there, she finished 15th on the World Cup at the Ruka Sprint in December, I believe that was, right?
That's correct, yeah. So definitely a strong classic sprinter. Now that's a little bit of a different course at the Ruka World Cup where it's a long, steep uphill finish. Where this is now, they're descending into the stadium and there's a long, long double pole section. And I saw an interview with our winner yesterday, the junior women. She said, you gotta save energy for the finishing stadium part. Lots of double pole in here. And we see that is Yasmin Kahara out front, but then the battle for that second automatic qualifier. 4 skiers in the hunt for that 2nd spot. Kahara out front, she should get this. But then we've got the Finn, the Norwegian, the German, and the Swede battling for that 2nd automatic spot.
Steve, you got to remember there's still that lucky loser position up for grabs. And so 1, 2 automatically qualify, but the 3rd and 4th fastest time of this round also go on to semifinals.
And the German tried to go on the outside, but not able to come by Hedda Bakamo, but still very close. Sari is going to get that 2nd spot, it looks like, for Finland. Hedda Bakamo 3rd, Ella Olsen in 4th. And one thing that's interesting, you see how the dividers along the course limits you to come around on that outside, that we did see a little bit of that yesterday.
I believe those corridors are a little tighter than what they were yesterday.
I think so. I think they've just brought that in a little bit. Just looking back, and here you can see the start, just a little stumble there.
I don't know if she tripped on the starting wand, so each of these athletes are going to break a wand to get their time to start, and it almost looked like she tripped up on that starting wand.
Yeah, and she had to use up a lot of energy. That's number 30, Sydney Palmer-Ledger, to get back in there, and then they're hitting that climb. And that's that move that we saw Bakamo do, coming on the inside on that corner. But it wasn't quite enough. She got 3rd on that heat. You can see the finish. Kahara looking very strong.
Fastest qualifier of the day.
2nd spot.
Yeah, strong.
And you can see Hedda Bakamo not happy there, getting 3rd.
But like you said earlier, Steve, that strong double pole, it's a long double pole around the stadium.
Okay, coming up next, our second heat for the U23 women's sprint. We've got Sigrid Foyen, Helen Hoffman, Cassie Skinder, McCabe, and Pierre on the start line. Okay, now they're just getting pulled back, and what's happening here is the starter has to say, you got to be completely motionless before they start. If someone's moving a little bit, they move everyone back to reset. So this isn't a false start. This is simply the starter doesn't feel that they came to a complete stop, and they reset, say, okay, come back to the start line, set, and they have to stay motionless. So that's what's happening here. And so just a note, Novi McCabe in this final from the US, from the Metro Valley, just Washington State, just south of here. But the two top qualifiers.
We had someone go down there off the start.
You know, that is the same. That was the French skier. That was Pierre L.
And the same lane that Sydney Palmer-Ledger from the previous heat had to stumble in. So
that's interesting. That's very interesting there for the start. But that's Sigrid Foyen from Norway leading out, the fourth fastest qualifier, Helen Hoffman.
So little interesting fact about Foyen is her old coach from her club, Tormod Vatten, is actually here representing Canada as one of the U23 coaches with Team Canada. He's currently coaching with the Alberta World Cup Academy.
Okay, so there is your 5 skiers. So the French skier, Julie Pierrel, kind of knocked out at the start there, out of the starting gate, but all 5 skiers remaining are in the hunt here.
And I don't think she's gonna be able to come back. You can see her just there now, climbing, starting the final climb. And I don't think she's gonna make contact with the top 5.
Okay, so that is Foyen, number 4 leading. You can see on the left of your screen, that is Novi McCabe, not known as a sprinter, but if she can get through the heats, that endurance starts to take over in these sprint races.
And here they come into Heartbreak Corner. Let's see if they can all remain on their skis.
Now, second spot there, that is Katie Kasicki, one of the 2 Estonian twins in these heats. She's sitting second spot, number 14 with the blue suit. Also then there, Monika Skinder, number 17 from Poland. Monika Skinder, inspired by Justina Kowalczuk, who won Olympic medals here in 2010 and won the gold medal in the 30K mass start. So lots of Polish ski fans are very familiar with the Vancouver and the Whistler Olympic Park tracks from those Olympics.
And Monika Skinder also just raced at the Canadian Trials in Prince George last week, where she was second place in the classic sprint.
Okay, now descending into the stadium. Foyen still in the lead. Kasicki from Estonia now moving to the outside there. But now moving back into second. She's going to be happy there, just sitting on the skis of Sigrid Foyen from Norway. Monika Skinder from Poland, number 17, trying to come around on the outside. But Kasicki trying to hold that inside line, taking the advantage there. This is the second heat for quarterfinals. Top 2 move on. Skinder moving to the outside there on the left. Kasicki in blue in the middle. And now the German is coming on strong. That's Helen Hoffman.
Oh my goodness.
A junior world champion now in U23.
Is Hoffman
the lunge.
Who got second there?
Oh my goodness. The photo from Hoffman and Kasicki, again, the top 2 automatically move on. Skinder in 4th. I don't think they're going to be in a position for lucky loser spots, 3rd and 4th. So this photo finish is very, very important.
You know, Steve, overall that heat was a little slower than the first heat we saw. So I think you're correct that there won't be any lucky losers coming out of this heat.
Okay, now let's look at the replay here. So look at this start, Tim. Is that, oh, that was Pierre L.
There's someone on the coach or someone on the sidelines there that was blocking the view of what actually she tripped on.
Okay, and there is Foyen making that same move on the inside, trying to control that inside corner. And that's the Norwegians definitely seem to be using that strategy.
And it seems to be working well on that climb.
Then Heartbreak Corner. Safely through Heartbreak Corner. And then into the stadium. And this is where you see a lot of activity, like just lots of time to get through the stadium. Like, it's not you come into the stadium and there's the finish. You can see 4 skiers all spreading across the tracks. And Hoffman on the right, the German, coming on strong. The Estonian Käsikiu trying desperately with the lunge, but I think it might have been Hoffman. And here we go from the side. That is Foyen safely through, and here is the lunge.
And it looks like Hoffman got it.
Yes.
Last year's.
She's a junior world champion.
Junior world champion from last year.
That's correct, yeah.
So again, seeing that stadium finish, it's about staying in contact early in the stadium and saving enough for that final finishing straight.
Okay, our next heat coming up, heat number 3 of the quarterfinals. Okay, in this heat, number 5, you see there, that is Mua Hansen, the world sprint champion, U23 from last year. That was in the skate. But look at this start by the Norwegian. That is Gulbrandsen, Ingrid Gulbrandsen. Big start right away. She looks like she wants to take this out fast.
Going for that inside corner as well. The Norwegian climbing strategy.
That seems to be what they're doing. Now the Polish skier, Izabela Macisz. She had a great race just a few weeks ago here in Canada, Tim.
Yes, that is correct. She raced the Canadian Trials in Prince George, BC, and ended up winning the classic sprint there. And they're making their way here to the top of the course.
So Gulbrandsen on the right, number 6. Macisz from Poland on the left there, number 15. The French skier 25 is Didier Laurent. And the French skier number 16 just on the inside of the course. That is Yves-Ondine Duchaufour. Last year she was a junior and she anchored the French team to a medal at the Junior World Championships in the relay. Now she is U23. So Gulbrandsen leading through. Gulbrandsen leading through Heartbreak Corner. Trying to stay upright here. So Gulbrandsen, number 6, leading it out. Now number 16 moving up, Duchaufour.
And it's still a tight race there between, who's that? Mua Hansen. She's making her move now over the top.
And just falling back there is Kaidi Käsikiu, the second Estonian twin. She's back in 5th there in blue. And Didier Laurent sitting in 6th spot. So it looks like we're down to 4 skiers descending into the stadium. And this is another tricky, fast corner, and it starts to get strewn up.
Yeah, we did see one crash yesterday on that corner, so you still have to be careful.
And moving to the front, Mua Hansen, world champion in the skate sprint last year at the World U23s. She is leading it out, number 5. Gulbrandsen trying to gain there on that inside track. Macisz sitting 3rd for Poland.
Who is saving enough for the finishing straight here?
So now the front 2 starting to pull away. Mua Hansen and Gulbrandsen, they're looking like they can get those automatic spots. So Mua Hansen, who has struggled a bit this season after her World Championship win last year, coming on strong here in this 3rd quarterfinal. Gulbrandsen sitting in 2nd. She'll get that 2nd automatic qualifier spot.
So Mua Hansen and Gulbrandsen are advancing.
Okay, so just looking at the times there. trying to get a sense of who might be our lucky losers.
It's still looking like Heat 1 was the fastest heat of the day so far. And it looks like our lucky
you're right,
losers
Tim.
will be coming off that first heat.
Yeah, so Marchish will not be moving forward. Duchaufour not moving forward from this heat. Okay,
no,
so this
no
was
problems with that lane this time in this heat.
yeah, not sure if it was the start gate or something else, but you can see the start. Really powerful start by Gulbrandsen from Norway.
Yeah,
And there
went
you
out front, took control of the race, raced her own race, and helps you stay out of trouble going into Heartbreak Corner there if you can stay out front. And as you can see, your Heartbreak Corner on that left side of the screen there, things are getting soft, big tracks, so you don't want to get skis caught in there that can grab you and take you down.
Okay, and this is where we see Moa Hansen. So it coming out of that corner, she was able to move up onto that outside lane, and that allowed her to set up for the descent in the stadium. So number 5 is your world skate sprint champion for U23s from last year, and number 6, Gulbrandsen, she was 7th at that last year's World U23 Championships in the skate sprint. So they've battled it out before in sprints, but now it's the classic
Steve,
sprint.
that's where things are a little bit different with this U23 category versus the juniors we saw yesterday. A lot of these U23 skiers have skied against each other on the world stage, and they know where they kind of stand against each other.
Okay, so now here is our next heat. This is our 4th heat of 5. Anja Weber, 2nd fastest qualifier. Lisa Lohman, a past world junior champion in the classic sprint, your 9th qualifier.
From 2021, so yeah, she definitely a strong classic sprinter.
Nicole Monsorno, the Italian national sprint champion just from a couple weeks ago. Nadja Kalin, Martina DeCenta, her dad.
Some of you may know that name from the 2010 Olympics.
Giorgio DeCenta, Olympic champion in 2006, also raced in 2010 here in Vancouver. And Federica Casol, your 6th starter here. This is heat 4 of 5 for the U23 women. They're just getting called here to the start line. Yeah, Anja Weber, the 2nd fastest qualifier. Not only is she a great skier, she's part of the Swiss national triathlon team. So a multi-sport athlete.
Yeah.
There is Martina DeCenta. So again, her dad raced here, and we have at least 2 athletes racing today that are children of athletes that raced here for the Olympics. The other being Lars Hjelmeset on the men's side. Okay, they're just getting called to the start line. Also, Lisa Lohman, very interesting, not known for her sprinting, more on the distance side, but she did win that sprint 2 years ago for the junior women. Okay, we're underway. 4th heat of the quarterfinals for our U23 women. 3 Italians in here.
It looks like Weber goes out front there.
That looks like Weber out front for the Swiss. Her 2nd fastest qualifier, taking that inside lane. Lisa Lohman, who also, a number 9, raced the Tour de Ski in the World Cup recently. She's the kind of skier that if she can get through the quarterfinals and the semifinals, she can be deadly in a final because of the endurance, right? We talked about this yesterday, Tim, that, you know, it's one thing to qualify, but then you get to the heats, and it starts to become more of an endurance battle and more of a tactical battle.
Exactly. Every race is just more and more taxing on the body. And so some of these endurance athletes, if they can make it to that final, or have enough energy reserves to ski really strong and win that final.
Okay, so on the right of your screen, that is Anja Weber of Switzerland. On the left, Lisa Lohman of Germany. One of the Italians, 29, and then 22, just falling off the pace being set here. That's Federica Casol, 29, and Martina DeCenta, number 22. Also, number 19, Nadja Kalin, just falling off the pace. Her sister, younger sister, actually raced yesterday in the junior championships. Now, Tim, Heartbreak Corner.
Yeah. Again, everyone's skiing it really well, staying on their feet. That's the most important part of that corner, is just staying upright.
Now Helen Hoffman, number 9, the German, moving to the front, but responding. Anja Weber, the Swiss skier. So now they're into the descent. Where they'll descend into the stadium. There's a little bit of a chicane they have to navigate. Number 19, Nadja Kalin just holding on, but the Italian in there is Monsorno, the Italian national sprint champion. And she looks like she's got good skis there, Tim. The Italian sitting in number 3. Let's see how they come down, descending into the stadium. And again, there's this long double pole section. There's 3, I think, in the hunt. Oh, but now moving to the outside.
I believe that was Kalin.
Yes, Nadja Kalin moving to the outside. Oh, yeah. It's close. Look at the skis that she would have had. She's moved.
Yeah, she made up tons of ground. Oh, a little bit of deciding what lane to go in. It looked like they chose the same lane and skied on top of each other.
Oh, wow. That was touching elbows, getting the elbows out, but moving into second is the Italian, Monsorno, the Italian national champion. Helen Hoffman's got her work cut out for her if she wants to move on.
Whoa,
oh, she's
Hoffman
down.
goes down.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
So it's going to be Anja Weber, the Swiss skier, and the Italian national champion, Nicole Monsorno, moving on.
And Hoffman is still on the snow.
And I don't think those times are fast enough for Nadja Kalin to move on. Martina DeCenter across the line. Wow, Helen Hoffman, not sure what happened there. Man, she was going all out.
Well,
she was going all out.
Yeah,
She knew she had to get the top 2.
Coming down to that finishing straight, and I'm not sure what happened, if she just missed the track with her ski or put a pole between the legs.
But the 2021 Junior World Classic Sprint champion for the junior women out of this sprint tournament. Okay, so just watching this corner.
Yeah, so just something, number 29 there is just off the back, so I'm not sure if something happened earlier on in the race around the corner that we missed.
But here's Helen Hoffman. I mean, right there, you're looking, wow, she's looking strong. She's got control. Junior world champion in the sprint. Looking pretty solid. Then through Heartbreak Corner.
Yeah, skied the corner really well. Yeah, excellent to stay out front coming out of that corner. And into the final little climb here before the descent, still in the lead. She had so much control of that race.
Yeah, again, look, there's Helen Hoffman in the lead. And then coming into the stadium, you see the elbows and the skis connect. And Helen Hoffman's playing it safe, but I think it's about right here. No, it was just before that, where 3 skiers connected there. Helen Hoffman, the German, the Italian,
and here's Hoffman coming around. And just something grabbed on her ski. I don't know if there's, you almost see something in the track there just behind her. If her grip wax grabbed something and caused her to go down.
Would they be on Clister wax today?
I'm not
just
sure
that really
what
sticky
they're,
Clister wax?
probably not with the temperatures out there. You know, they don't need tons of grip because the climbs aren't super long and they want maximum speed out there.
Okay. Okay, well, so here we've got our 5th and final quarterfinal heat. Okay, again, the athletes not quite motionless, and the starter will pull them back, reset. Okay, so in this heat, Fosnes of Norway, Antosova of Czechia, Tannheimer of Germany, Niemela, Finland, Ustila of Estonia, and Novakova of Czechia. Now, one of the skiers here from Czechia, Antosova, 2 top 20 World Cup finishes, and also raced in the recent World University Games in Lake Placid. But taking it out is the Finnish skier, Hila Niemela, who took 3 gold medals at those World University Games in Lake Placid just a couple weeks ago. But coming on the inside is the Norwegian.
The Norwegian move there on the inside. And Steve, this is the 5th and final heat of the quarterfinals. And what makes it so tough being in that 5th heat is now they get less recovery time moving into the semis than the skiers from heat number 1. So there is an advantage to be in the first couple heats compared to the 4th or 5th heat.
So leading it out, number 3, Fosnes of Norway. She was recently 8th at the Norwegian Senior Championships in the skate sprint. She also had a
25th place on the World Cup.
Yep.
And a relay gold from U23s as well. So
last year, yes.
She has some results.
But just looking, Tim, at the lucky loser times, it looks like it is the high 311s. Yeah, 311.73
is the time to beat.
Is the time to beat to get into the semifinals. All 5 skiers here very close together.
As they go into heartbreak corner here. They're tight. Saw a little bit of snowplow there. Oh, and someone's gone down.
I think that's Niemela that may have gone down, the Finnish skier that took 3 golds at the World University Games just a couple weeks ago is out of this race.
And there's no coming back for her now. There she is, just getting up, skiing away.
Heartbreak on heartbreak corner,
yeah.
And now that we see number 8, that is Antosova from Czechia moving into 2nd now.
And Fosnes is still in the lead there as they go into that final descent.
That is Tannheimer from Germany in 3rd. And the other Czechia athlete, that is Novakova. Again, the top 2 automatically moving on. Fosnes, Antosova, Tannheimer, and Novakova. They're still in the running here. 4 skiers descending into the stadium.
Look how low that tuck is. Trying to be as aerodynamic as possible as they come into the stadium.
Okay, Antosova moving to the outside, trying to make sure she's got a lane, but she's got to be careful that someone doesn't get that inside lane. So Fosnes on the inside, Antosova just in those 2nd set of tracks, and there she goes. Antosova nicely moving into that 2nd spot around that corner, taking it tightly. And here we go. There's a chance here for some lucky loser spots.
Shoulder. See how close her competitors are.
So Fosnes leading, Antosova in 2nd, but she's got to be careful. It's going to be Fosnes moving forward, Antosova moving forward, and I don't think any lucky loser spots.
That first heat definitely was the fastest heat of today. So our lucky losers will be coming off that first heat.
Okay, so that's our women's quarterfinal heats, and there is Niemela. 3 gold medals at the World University Games in Lake Placid a couple weeks ago, but Heartbreak Corner has claimed another victim. So this is just a replay of our 5th heat in the quarterfinals. Nice start for everyone. Everyone was in it at this point.
Yeah, really tight group coming
out
up the climb here. You know, it was anyone's heat to win. And let's take a closer look here at what went on. Oh, it looks like just people were just too tight stepping on skis there. And when someone steps on your ski, you have no control of it, and down she went.
And this is the descent into the stadium from that 5th heat. Staying nice and low. Look at that tuck by Fosnes.
Yeah, especially coming into that, on that final descent, there is some drafting that can take place. And so if you are leading, it's important you get as low as possible to be as aerodynamic.
Okay, so now our U23 men's sprint heats coming up. 5 heats. You can see our fastest qualifier, Lars Egner Hjelmeset from Norway. His dad, Oddbjorn Hjelmeset, won a silver medal at the 2010 Vancouver Olympics. And his coach, the head of the Norwegian contingent here, said he really wants to beat his dad. And this is a chance. He could go one up if he could take the goal today.
He's definitely one of the favorites to win today. Recently winning the Scandinavian sprint race in December, and so he's on form, and he showed us with the top qualifying position.
Okay, so we're underway here. Yelmaset, Bernardi, Barp, Jagger, Savary, and Poikimaki. So in this is the Jaggermeister, Luke Jagger from Anchorage, Alaska. He was the 20th qualifier. He has raced on this course before. They had the Canadian National Championships and Super Tour finals here.
Yes, and last year, Jaggermeister qualified second and finished third on this exact course last March.
Also Jagger, a Beijing Olympian. Made it into the heats in the sprints, the skate sprints in Beijing last February.
And Steve, it seems like this heat is spreading out pretty quick here. I was not expecting it compared to yesterday, watching the junior men. They were a lot more relaxed, calmer, kept things tighter, more tactical. Whereas in this heat, they're going for it.
Yeah, Yelmaset, look at this. Look, Helmaset way out in front on the top of the climb. Yelmaset, the top qualifier, well out in front. Then we've got the two Italians, Bernardi and Barp.
And he stays upright, so he's pretty safe here. Everyone's spread out, clean and through. And again, this is the first heat, so Helmaset, he has lots of time to recover for that semifinal. So it's not a bad idea to just go for it and have that extra time to recover, refresh, be ready for the semifinals.
So Bernardi sitting in second spot. Now here comes Luke Jagger into third spot. Luke Jagger moved up on that corner.
Exactly, and I think it's his experience from last year racing this course is saving it for that final little rise into this descent.
Okay, so the American has moved into third. So that is Lars Agner Yelmaset in first, then in the descent here. I believe that is Bernardi in second for the Italians, but you can see 111 also moving up. Now from this angle, now Luke Jagger's got that inside lane. He wants to hold that position. They're moving up on Yelmaset. Bernardi 110, but Jagger wants to hold that spot. Oh my goodness.
Little bit of box down.
He's got to come out of that corner strong if he wants to get that second spot. Yelmaset in the lead, but here comes 111, Bernardi. Can Jagger get in here? Jagger trying to move up. Yelmaset in red.
Come back, look at this.
Oh my.
So is that to a photo finish there for second, third, and fourth?
Yeah.
Again, though, that was a fast first heat. Those could be lucky loser times moving on, depending what the other heats do there, if they go out strong or if they hold back and be more tactical.
Yeah, just to put in perspective, that heat was almost basically the same time as Yelmaset's qualifier time. So that was a very fast heat. That was the start of that heat. You see Yelmaset, like he was on a mission. He never relaxed. Like he was pushing the pace from the start. He opened that gap early on, and it was quite a significant gap to him.
Yeah, and when you have a gap like that early on, sometimes then you can relax for the second half of that race because you have such a significant lead.
But then Jagger came back, the Jaggermeister, but this was a critical moment to him.
Yes, I always think in sprint racing, it's about taking space, not giving space. The Italian there took that little bit of space over Jagger, so Jagger had to fight back for it.
If Jagger is a half ski length in front, Bernardi can't do that maneuver. And, oh, that was a really close lunge, but I think that was Jagger in fourth, but it was a fast heat.
Yeah, still waiting for those official results from that heat to see where they ended up.
Okay, now we're into our second heat for the quarterfinals for the U23 men. In this heat,
bib 104.
Emil Danielson, who is the older brother of Elias Danielson, who took the silver medal yesterday.
That's correct. Wouldn't that be something if the two brothers could walk away with medals after day one and day two?
Also in this heat, Sosau of Germany,
Mattila of Finland, Dremuja of Estonia, Gus Schumacher of the USA, and Jaime Puello from Spain.
Again, Gus Schumacher known more for his distance racing, so it's great to see him here qualifying in the sprints.
Okay, so Danielson, whose brother took a silver medal yesterday, his younger brother in the junior men's competition. That's 104, he's got that inside lane. Gus Schumacher, the Anchorage, Alaska athlete who won a gold in the Junior World Championships in 2020 in Germany. He's been racing on the World Cup most of this season. Here we go, onto the second stage of the climb. And Mattila of Finland up there, but now they ease up here a little bit, and Schumacher 124 deciding he wants to come from the outside into Heartbreak Corner.
Yeah, and this is a completely different heat than that first one where they were strung out. Here everyone's super tight together. We'll see what happens as they go into the Heartbreak Corner.
Okay, so Schumacher on the outside.
Yeah, and you saw the guy on the inside had to snowplow slow down a little bit. Oh, little stumble, a couple stumbles in that soft snow. It's being piled up. You get caught in that soft snow, it forces you even wider.
But Schumacher, he had to go right on the outside, but it didn't cost him too much there. But Danielson out on the outside and Mattila moving up. So the Finnish skier, Mattila, leading right now. Schumacher now into second for the U.S. The Anchorage athlete in second. Danielson
cut
third.
On the inside there, though. Took that corner on the inside and has moved into second place, Steve.
Now descending in the stadium, they're still all in it. That is Mattila from Finland leading it out. Now Danielson, 104 on the inside. Schumacher sitting third spot for the USA. But Danielson getting that inside lane.
Skiing it so strong around that corner.
So Danielson, who watched his brother take a silver medal yesterday, gonna finish strong here. Schumacher trying to move up on the outside. Mattila sitting second.
And Danielson can stand up, ease up, start saving energy for the semis after that.
Mattila, second spot.
One thing I want to point out here, if you can look at Danielson's boots, Steve, he has a little bit of a cuff higher up, so he's actually on a skiathlon boot, which is a classic sole and has a bit of a skating cup. And what that's going to allow him is a little bit more control for Heartbreak Corner on those corners, give him a little more ankle stability. We've noticed a lot of the junior men racing with the skiathlon boot versus a true classic boot, which is lower cut and does not have any ankle support.
Yeah, that is a really interesting detail that you caught there. And that's, you know, the Swedes did extremely well yesterday on the men's side. And that may be something they picked up from that race. This is just coming to the top of the hill. You see Schumacher on the left side of your screen. He says, you know what, I'm going to try and lead into Heartbreak Corner. But he's on the outside. Look at this, Tim.
Yeah, he's there, and he gets caught in this soft stuff. Oh, one ski and forces him really wide. He almost went off the course here as he comes all the way around.
And that was Sosao on the outside,
yeah,
just trying to stay upright.
Right on the edge there.
Danielson moving on to the semifinals, still with the chance to equal his younger brother, trying to win a medal here. Okay, now our third quarterfinal heat. George Irsen from Sweden, Jonas Vika of Norway, Remy Bourdin of France, Emil Lakari of Finland, Anze Gross of
Sasha Mason, the Canadian.
And a Canadian.
Yeah, so Sasha Mason from the Yukon. His father, Alain Masson, Olympian.
His mom, an
Olympian.
Olympian.
You know, there's some good genetics there. Let's see how he does.
So the Canadian representative here at Whistler Olympic Park in British Columbia, Canada. A fast start, and look at 105. George Urson, look at the power that guy generates on the double pole. Those poles are shaking in fear. Look at this. Oh my goodness. That was probably the best power we've seen all week on the start. And he controls going up the climb. Then we've got Jonas Vika sitting in second spot. Now they slow up. Now they slow up on the climb.
This is more of what we saw yesterday in that junior category, especially in the junior men. Just a little slower, a little more relaxed, which again keeps Luke Jagger has that lucky loser position, and that might allow him to go through.
Yeah, because that heat, that was where Yelmoset pushed right from the start. Okay, so you can see across your screen, 105 is George Urson, 106 Jonas Vika, and on the right.
And there's Sasha Mason changing lanes. You can see that fur pom-pom he has on his tube.
Yeah, he's just behind the French skier, who is Remy Bourdin. So Sasha Masson, the Canadian skier, you see 126. He's going to the second row on the inside. Oh, he's Sasha Masson. What
nice
a move.
Nice corner. That was very similar to how Xavier McKeever skied that corner yesterday and kept him right up in there.
What a bold move by Sasha Masson. Not sure if it's going to be enough, but I love the boldness of Sasha Masson.
He is going for it. Now he is taking the risks needed to advance into the semifinals.
Yeah, that's exactly it. If you want to move on, sometimes you have to take some risks. And Sasha Masson willing to do that. Now we've got Remy Bourdin from France leading it. Then Jonas Vika of Norway. Oh, and then coming on the inside.
Yeah, Jonas Vika went quite wide on that corner.
That was interesting, because he lost quite a few spots there. And you can see the skis of the Swedes.
Yes,
105.
they had fast
George
skis
Urson.
yesterday, and it looks like they have some really fast skis today, too.
So Urson,
final descent.
Urson trying to control from the front here, but it's going to be pretty close. Coming to the corner, Urson in the lead. Vika in second. Top two move on. Okay, so we've got Urson on the left of your screen. Now moving up, Urson from Sweden. And Jonas Vika in second. There's not going to be any lucky losers coming from this heat. Urson and Vika will move on. Still sitting in those lucky loser spots.
What a great ski for Sasha Mason, though. He skied that really well. Took the risks where they were needed. Yeah, he looked really, really good out there.
Love that move, love that move. Sasha Mason won't be moving on, but he left it all out there. We'll go through the replay here. So we'll go through the replay. We see off the start, look at the power here. Look at the power of Urson at the start.
He had a couple ski lengths right off the start there.
Yeah. And then he powered at the end. So Urson is definitely someone we have to watch for the double pole at the finish in the semifinals, and if he can make it to the finals. And let's look at this descent here. Look at this move.
Yeah,
Tim.
Watch Sasha Mason here. Moves right in on the outside, goes really wide to begin with, and then cuts in and sets up on that far left lane, exactly how Xavier McKeever skied it. Comes out of there, nice and relaxed, goes for that left lane, and just not quite enough to advance to the semis.
I'm really impressed with George Urson. That whole race, just the start and the finish. And he hasn't had like a great season this year. He was 15th in the Scandinavian Cup earlier this season, but a strong start here. Okay, now moving into our final heat for the U23 men. Sorry, this is our fourth. Getting a little excited there. Our fourth of 5 heats. Okay, so in this heat, Chiocchetti of Italy, Stolben of Germany, Korseth of Norway, Metasov of Kazakhstan, Skoglund from Sweden, and Rousset from France. Okay, so coming out, oh, look at this. The Swede is double poling that climb. Skoglund double poling that climb. Now this is,
the Norwegian goes, again, running on the inside.
Oh, this is interesting. The Swede going with, looks like less wax.
Yeah.
We'll see how that works out.
But he is definitely off the end there.
Okay,
but again, that second half of this sprint race has a lot of descending, so he may be able to come back if he's gone lighter on the wax.
Okay, so on the right of your screen is Korseth. He looked across. He wants that middle lane, going into Heartbreak Corner.
Yeah, trying to set himself up for that corner.
Okay, so coming into Heartbreak Corner. Korseth leading it out 112. Keoketi sitting in second for, oh no, he's moved back into third. So you know what?
Everyone
the
was
Frenchman moving up.
Nice
Reset.
and relaxed through that corner. No one was really pushing through there, which kept things safe.
So the Swede is out of this. Looks like maybe not the right choice of wax. We'll see. There's still the finale in the stadium, but Korseth leading it. The German 109 Stolben in second, and then the Italian Keoketi sitting in third.
And Keokete with the second fastest qualifying time of the day, so he could have a pretty strong finishing kick here, Steve.
Now descending in the stadium, Korseth, he won actually a couple roller ski World Cups earlier this season, and he took a fourth in the Classic Sprint in the Scandinavian Cup, so he can Classic Sprint. But here we've got Stolben on the inside, the German moving up. That's the position you want to be in if you can hold your space there. But I'm not sure he can do that. Korseth, yes, moving to the inside, cutting off Stolben, and Keoketi 102 coming around the outside. Korseth gonna lead it out, but it's 3 wide. Keoketi trying to move up. This could be a lucky loser finale, maybe not. No, I don't think it is. So it is going to be Korseth and Keoketi moving on.
Korseth and Keoketi, yes, and I don't believe there's any lucky losers coming from this fourth heat, Steve.
Yeah, looking at the unofficial times, still Elia Barp of Italy and Luke Jagger of the USA from that first heat are still in those lucky loser positions.
And Stolben looks like he ended up fourth there. It's a little too bad. He just finished 9th in a sprint a week ago on the World Cup, and so his form was looking good. And so for him not to advance to the semis.
Yeah, Keoketi, definitely a strong race just a week ago against some of the best in the world. Yeah, this was interesting, Tim. The choice of the Swede, Skoglund, looks like he went with less wax. Initially looked not too bad.
Yeah, and then got to this the technique zone where you have to stride and definitely suffered.
Yeah, and the idea is you go with less wax so you have less grip, but then when you come down into the stadium, you've got more glide.
Exactly,
and it's
way more
a bit
speed.
of a calculation.
Yeah, and a balancing act. You want just enough grip to survive the climbs and then have maximum speed for those descents or the double pole flats.
And you can see in that corner that Stolben, who looked really strong, but he didn't have the right position going into that corner. And Korseth was able to take his own line, and that allowed him to have a cleaner run to the finish, and Stolben had to hold up. Okay, so now into our final heat.
Yeah, 5th and final heat.
For the quarterfinals.
Avenson, definitely one of the favorites of today. 3rd fastest qualifier. We'll see if he goes on to the semifinals.
So Avenson recently a top position in the Norwegian Senior Championships. That was a skate sprint. I believe he was 5th or 6th in that race. So he's on good form, and he is 103 in the red suit.
And he also, I believe, 6th place in a World Cup in Norway earlier this season as well. So, you know, that's going against the top guys in the world.
Okay, so let's see the Norwegian strategy. Take that inside lane. So that has been a consistent Norwegian strategy throughout yesterday and today.
Running outside of the track on that
inside.
corner.
And what people don't see is how steep it is on that inside lane.
Yeah, the further left inside you come, the steeper that pitch gets. And so that's one reason why they are out of the track there, is just doing more of a running technique to get more force down onto that grip wax to get up the hill versus staying in the track.
Okay, so we've got Gieselman, 113 for the Swedes in the middle of your screen. Giovanni Tico, 118 on the right. And then we've got the Slovenian, Korseth, moving up. So the Slovenian, look at that power on that second stage of the climb.
Definitely
Now,
went for it over the top of the course there.
so he's gonna be leading into Heartbreak Corner.
Oh, a couple snowplows there, slowing down their speed.
Everyone safely through. The Slovenian, Korosec leading it out. Of course, Slovenia,
He is
host of
going
the
for
Senior
it,
Championships
leaving it
later this
all
year.
out there.
Oh, and they decided to pull that section, but nice little move by the Frenchman,
Yeah, did you see
Julian
that
Arnaud.
running out the track to move up a few positions there.
Oh, that'll be neat to see again, because that was an interesting move that he did there. Now, Evensen, definitely the favorite in this heat, certainly the top qualifier, certainly the resume to suggest that he's going to get into the semifinal. He's got a gap there.
Yeah, he's got a pretty healthy lead. Does he have enough power through the stadium to maintain that lead?
Yeah, this is, again, a very long double pole section, and we saw a lot of excitement yesterday. And there you go. You've got 5 skiers, I think 4 skiers, in the hunt for that second automatic qualifying spot. Evensen out front.
Yeah, and he's looking so relaxed now.
Arnaud
as he
from
comes around.
France, getting that lane cleanly now to the finish. Can anyone overtake Arnaud? Gieselman of Sweden now trying to make a charge there. Arnaud trying to hold on.
There's the battle for second place.
It's going to be a lunge. Oh, I think Gieselman did it. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Arnaud looked like he had it, and then the lunge from Gieselman. My goodness. And there's no lucky losers.
Exactly, so that lunge is really, really important there because no lucky losers are going on. Third place is out.
So what we don't know is Arnaud or Gieselman moving on, but what we do know is Luke Jagger and Elia Barp will be moving on as lucky losers. There's the start. Evensen looking very strong. Definitely one of the favorites to win here today based on his results this season.
Yeah, and just look how relaxed he is here in this pack. And he made his move leading into that final descent. And he showed such power that in the stadium, he could just start to relax.
Now let's watch the Frenchman. He's back in 5th here. The Frenchman is back in 5th. It looks like, and then look, he comes out on the inside.
Yeah, look at that tempo. Change in speed from double pole to just the run, comes on the outside and moves all the way up into 3rd and 2nd.
And he, I'm sure, is inspired by Richard Jouvet winning the French World Cup just yesterday. And look at this finish here. Arnaud, it looks like he's got it, but Gieselman pushing, and then the lunge. I want to see that shot from the side if we can get it. Here we go, and there's the lunge.
Oh my goodness,
oh my
Steve.
gosh. Oh, Arnaud does it. Arnaud does it.
Unofficially.
Okay, unofficially, but let's go back right there. Look how close that is. Less than 1/100 of a second.
Everyone, it's the toe crossing the line.
Oh my.
Whoever toe goes across the line
at that.
first.
Half a centimeter. Arnaud.
Oh.
What a lunge. And he is going to move on.
That's sprint racing, Steve, at its finest. That lunge, that's what it all comes down to. They go around for 1.2K and it comes down to that lunge.
To 1/100th of a second or less than that. Now they will review a photo finish
Exactly.
because what we're seeing
is
there
unofficial.
is unofficial.
There is
so
an
they will
official
review that
photo finish camera that we do not have eyes on. It would be awesome if we could get that photo and put it up on the screen for everyone.
But we'll see about that. But that was a lot of excitement. Now we're into the semifinals, Tim, for the women, and then the men will be after that. Some big names here.
Steve, this semifinal number 1, this could be the final in a way, how strong it is.
Yeah, pretty much all of the ones that we thought would be favorites were in that first semifinal.
Yeah, this will be an exciting race.
Kahara with 2 top 20s on the Senior World Cup. Moa Hansen, the world champion from last year's U23 sprints. Helen Hoffman, a world junior champion. So very strong semifinal coming up. Our first semifinal for the women. So here we go. So again, this is the same as the quarterfinals. The top 2 automatically move on, and then there's 2 lucky loser positions. So now being called to the line. And it's a clean start. Oh, number 10 broke a pole right at the start. Amanda Sari broke a pole at the start. She is out of this. Oh my goodness. So we're down to 5. So Sari, very strong skier, one of our favorites today, is out in the semifinal with a broken pole at the start. So Kahara leading it out. Kahara leading this semifinal, then the Norwegian, Foyen, taking that inside line.
That seems to be the Finnish tactic there. It's just
Sorry, the Norwegian tactic.
No, the Finnish.
Oh, to lead it out.
Lead it out right
yes.
from the start to finish every heat. That's what we saw yesterday with the junior women.
Okay, so there you can see in the back, Amanda Sari, she's kind of got back into it.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine
And you can see her
get
poles.
all the way back.
The pole in her left hand, on the right of the screen, she does not have that strap on her hand. So it's going to make it a little bit harder for her to fully engage her upper body with poling, but she is making a comeback. Again, from this shot, we can see those pole lengths are 2 different lengths. So someone gave her a pole that looks like it's slightly longer than what she normally uses. So there's some adjustment that needs to be made when you're out there racing.
And you know, if you think about Heartbreak Corner, this is not a course you want to, like, if you have a problem, keep going. And you can see actually what she did is she actually on that downhill. Oh! Kahara tried to stay on her feet.
Yeah.
She had, that was interesting. She was leading through that and she got caught in those ruts and that deep snow on the outside.
But she looks like she's still comfortably in the lead here. But that could have cost her advancing to the finals.
So Kahara in the lead, number 4. Foyen, the kinesiology student from Norway, in second. Mo Hansen, the World U23 skate sprint champion from last year in Norway, sitting in 3rd spot.
And Helen Hoffman in 4th.
Helen Hoffman, the junior world champion from last year. As they descend into
Looks
the
like
stadium.
Helen went more on the inside there. Will that pay off here for her?
So now the descent into the stadium, this long double pole section. They're really staying in the tuck there.
Yeah. Trying to take full advantage, get some rest, recovery before they come in.
Mo Hansen going to the inside, a risky maneuver because she's got to move up before the corner, but she is moving up. Mo Hansen, can she move up enough to control it through that corner? I don't think so. And there we go, Kahara taking the lead. Foyen moving into second, they're cutting off Mo Hansen. Now they're into the finishing straight. Kahara in control, but here comes Mo Hansen. This is the semifinal. Can Mo Hansen move up? Foyen's got to move to another lane. Kahara's gonna do it, but there's still meters to the finish. A lunge.
Oh, another photo finish, Steve. I feel like we've had a photo finish in every single heat today. That is how tight the racing is.
Ella Olsen coming across the line, and a tough situation for Amanda Sari. She was looking very, very strong in her quarterfinals. A broken pole right at the start. She fought on, but not enough. So Sari moving on. We have a photo for
Sari.
second and third. Sorry, Kahara moving on. Sari with the broken pole.
Right off the start, right off the starting
There we
gate.
go. Now, she did eventually get a pole, but it was just...
It took some time, I think, to actually get her a pole, but she was able to come back here and move into 5th at one point.
So Kahara,
although here, as we approach Heartbreak Corner, it's very interesting here. Here she is. She almost stumbles. Look at that ski goes way out. I don't know how she stayed on her feet.
like her ski was almost parallel to her other ski.
Yeah, perpendicular, Steve.
And it just caught like a little, yeah, perpendicular. I'm getting help. Thank you for the geometry help there, Jim. Yeah.
We need a geometry lesson here.
Jeez, that's the physics here are almost impossible. But you know what I like about Kahara is, every heat she is led, she is controlled.
Exactly.
She's not messing around here. But there is the finish. Here's from the side, Tim. From the side, Foyen
looks like Foyen has it.
Yeah. Hansen in third, still with a chance at a lucky loser spot. Okay, now our second semifinal. Anja Weber, second qualifier, Christian Fosnes from Norway, Gulbrandsen, then the Czech, Antosova, Bakamo from Norway, and Monsorno, the Italian champion, our sixth starter. And here we are on the, off the starting gates, 3 Norwegians in this final.
Will they work together, Steve, do you think?
You know, my sense is it's pretty much race your own race. That's the sense I got when we talked to the coach, the great coaches of Norway. It's pretty much race your own race in a sprint. And there we go, the Norwegians moving to the inside.
They all want to do the same thing. Is there enough room for them to run
They're
on the
all
inside?
moving to the inside. The Norwegians have one strategy on that first corner, and so far it's been working out. As long as there's not too many Norwegians in the final. And there we go. That is Bakama on the inside. Look at her moving up. I love that stride. I love
running outside the track.
Oh,
I think she's in the track now, double pulling, but she took a while there to find the track to put her skis into.
Yeah, Bakama looking very strong.
Again,
so it's Gulbrandsen.
Some solid sprint results in Norway this season, so don't rule her out. There she is, running outside the track again.
On the outside is number 12, the Italian national champion.
Into the lead there. She wants to lead, I think, coming into Heartbreak Corner.
I think you're right. They're really, you can see how they're all gritting their teeth. They're all gritting their teeth here.
This could be a fast heat.
Over the top of the climb. Okay, but it is going to be Bakamo.
Bakamo definitely strung out the field a bit.
Okay, into Heartbreak Corner, staying upright. And Tosova just off the back of that. Bakamo leading, but getting that inside line is Monsorno, the Italian national champion.
Yeah, you can't rule her out yet.
Yeah, Monsorno, the Italian, moving up on the inside.
Top of the final climb into the descent. Who has the energy for that double pole stadium finish?
So down, now descending into the stadium. 4 skiers.
3 Norwegians, 1 Italian.
So the Italian holding second spot. But it's very interesting, the strategy here. Do you go to the outside?
And not get any draft? Or do you sit back and behind and try and slingshot around the skier?
Monsorno moving up, the Italian moving ahead.
And who's
of the 3 Norwegians
moving up as well?
And Morsano now taking control here. But Gulbrandsen, no, Monsorno controlling around the corner.
And Fosnes coming back.
The second semifinal, Fosnes, number 3, Gulbrandsen, number 6. The final 100 meters of the second semifinal. Can Monsorno hold on to an automatic spot?
Whoa,
number 6 moving up, Gulbrandsen moving up. Oh, another photo for second and third. And it's gonna matter because only 2 will move on. Sorry, no, I'm gonna correct that. There is one, I think, lucky loser spot.
Yeah, it's looking from the unofficial times we are seeing that Fosnes may get a lucky loser spot.
And it might, yes, I think you're right. I think Fosnes could get that lucky loser spot.
And again, that's unofficial, but it looks like Fosnes will move on.
What a finish by Monsorno.
Wow.
She had a battle with 3 Norwegians, and there she is, right there.
And I think Bakamo, like, her strategy must have been, I gotta go early on the climbs. Because definitely those other girls had a way stronger finish than her, and she was trying to make up for it in the climbs.
And look at the start. Monsorno is sitting back and forth, but again, it was funny to watch the Norwegians. They're always going on that inside line. I mean, it's working not too bad for them. but that's their consistent strategy on that really steep inside line. And this is where Monsorno, all of a sudden, it's like she's in the pack and she decides to put on a burst of speed. She wasn't able to get into first, but she moved into second spot. And here's Heartbreak Corner.
And you can see there on the left side of your screen just how soft that snow is. And if you come on the inside, you're not dealing with the soft snow, but you have to put the brakes on a little bit, which slows yourself down. You know, you're not coming out of that corner as fast as if you can stay wider, but you're dealing with softer snow when you're wider.
That's right. Yeah, good point, Tim. And there's the descent in the stadium. This is where Monsorno, just interesting strategy, because she goes to the outside and it's like,
Quite
you
early.
lose the draft, but then she cuts to the second lane, and right there, she closes the door. She still had a lot to sprint to the finish to hold her spot, but that gave her control. And then the lunge between Gulbrandsen and Fosnes. But right now, it looks like Fosnes will be a lucky loser along with Moa Hansen. And there's the lunge.
Another close finish.
About a half a
This
foot.
is setting up to be a good final, Steve.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, for the women's final. Okay, so our men's semifinals coming up. Elia Barp and Luke Jagger, the lucky losers to make it forward into the semifinal. Lars Agner Helmjeset, his dad raced here in the Olympics in 2010, looking very strong in his quarterfinal. He'll be in that first semifinal.
And again, talking to Tormod Vatten earlier today, a Norwegian here coaching in Canada, definitely Helmjeset is his favorite to win today.
Also in this heat, Danielson from Sweden. His brother won a silver medal yesterday. Oh, that'll be a false start.
Yeah.
That'll be a false start.
Someone
that
jumped
was
the
too hard
gun
to call.
there. Someone was getting a little excited. And that's sprint racing too. You're lining up, you know, adrenaline's going. You got to have that little pause. And you want to make sure you start clean. And sometimes people just get a little too excited and jump out of the starting gate before the gun goes off.
And what's key here, Tim, with the rules, right? The rules are after a false start,
the next person who does a false start is out. So oftentimes this next start, people are a little more cautious, a little more delayed, because they don't want to be disqualified.
So also in this heat, George Yersin from Sweden, he had that really strong start, double pole start, double pole finish in his earlier heat.
Yeah, look for him in that stadium finish as well with that, yeah, like as you said, that double pole power.
Bernardi from Italy, Mattila from Finland, and the Jaggermeister, Luke Jagger from Anchorage, Alaska, into the semifinal as a lucky loser, a Beijing Olympian.
Podium here last March at Canadian Nationals US Super Tour Finals.
And I would say Luke Jagger, the most entertaining man on cross-country skis.
That is a bold statement, Steve.
I'm going to say that right now.
But I might have to agree with you.
Okay, so they're just getting reset here. They'll get called to the start line. The start will say set. They have to stay motionless. Okay, it's a start. Luke Jagger on the outside of the USA suit, getting a clean start. But it's Yersin with that huge double pole start, moving to the front. This is our first semifinal heat. Again, top two moving on automatically. Yersin, look how far he double poles, and then he breaks into that
Oh, a
quick
little
strut.
bit of a stumble there.
But Yersin controlling it. Yelmaset sitting in second, taking that inside line.
Yeah, definitely a different strategy for Helmjeset. He's looking super relaxed. No one's pushing the pace like he did in the quarterfinals. And here they come up over the top. Again, super relaxed, not pushing the pace. It looks like they're going to save it all for that stadium finish double pole. And Helmjeset, it's tough to see from this angle of who's actually in the lead as they go into Heartbreak Corner. Up and over, and here they go, setting themselves up for Heartbreak Corner.
Okay, so Luke Jagger has fallen off the pace. Not sure what happened there.
No.
But we're down to 5 here into Heartbreak Corner. That is Bernardi leading through the corner, controlling there on the inside lane.
And definitely now we saw a change in pace. They are picking that pace up, coming up that last climb.
So Earson using a lot of double pole power on that just small little climb. Now the descent. Now the descent into the stadium. It's just a little bit of a chicane.
A little more cat and mouse, hey? They do some speed bursts, slow things down. We're seeing a little more back and forth here, playing with each other.
Okay, so Bernardi from Italy. Oh, and Earson just putting his hand out to try and control his position. And he's a strong double pole finisher. We've seen that in the first heat. He wants to control us. He doesn't want to get caught on that inside corner. But the risky move here from Bernardi, can he move up and control the inside? He's got to move up a little more.
If he can just stay on that inside, he's going to set himself up good for the finishing straight.
Not enough, not enough. Earson able to move to the inside.
And will Helmstedt come back?
And Danielson sitting second there on the outside. It's going to be, I think, 2 Swedes automatically moving forward because of how they took that final corner.
Oh, and that was tough. Helmstedt was boxed in there. He had nowhere to go. Even if he had more power left to put into his double pole, he just had no room to go.
Yeah, that's right. So he is in that 3rd spot. But Earson moving on. Danielson, whose brother won a silver medal yesterday, he is sitting and took 2nd place in there. So here's the start. I want to see what happened to Luke Jagger.
Yeah,
everything's fine at the start. You can see Earson with that massive double pole start.
And now he's off the back, so definitely something happened to him out there.
Okay, so here's Heartbreak Corner. Okay, we're going to go down to Tom here to talk a little bit about Heartbreak Corner.
Hey guys, yeah, thanks. I know we've been talking a lot about corner 5 and the setup, but it's super, super important, and it's been shown in a lot of the heats that the draft coming out of that corner into the stadium has really been setting up people for their finishing straight, and that last like trending uphill before the finishing is super, super important. So yeah, thanks guys.
Beautiful commentary from Tom Stephen, a junior world championship bronze medalist. Yeah, that descent into the stadium and the draft.
And that's what we talked about in that women's semifinal, is why do you stay in the draft, try and use that draft to slingshot around, or do you go out and just try outpower your competitors?
And there's the finish. Oh, shake of the head from Lars Hjelmstedt.
Fist pump between the 2 Swedes there as they move on.
Okay.
Again, Helmstedt's not out of it. There is that lucky loser spot still available, so we'll see how fast this 2nd heat is.
Okay, our 2nd semifinal heat, they're on the start line. So in this race, Chiocchetti of Italy.
3 Norwegians, 2 Italians, and a French skier.
Yeah, Avinson of Norway, Vika of Norway, Arnaud of France, Barp of Italy, and Korseth of Norway. So Arnaud was that one that had just got in an automatic qualifier spot by less than 100th of a second.
Yeah, that photo finish. And it looks like here, Steve, the 3 Norwegians are out front, controlling the pace as they come up the climb.
Once again, the Norwegians trying to get that inside line. So Jonas Vika, who has had a few World Cup starts this year for Team Norway, which is very, very hard to do, is leading out this 2nd semifinal. Chiocchetti there on the inside, just gritting his teeth.
And I wonder if Vika is leading here because he is known a little bit more for his distance racing, and so he might not have a true finishing sprint, so he's got to go for it early if he wants to try and advance to the final.
So 3 Norwegians, looks like they're leading into Heartbreak Corner. Elia Barp just falling off the pace there and into Heartbreak Corner.
nice and smooth. And here they go up the final climb. Oh, someone went down there.
Oh! Oh, my
Broken
goodness.
pole, he is out of it. Who was that?
So that was Arnaud and
A Norwegian suit there.
Korseth. I think Arnaud and Korseth
one
are
top
out of
Korseth.
this race. So now 2 Norwegians and an Italian, actually 2 Italians. In fact, it was interesting. Barp had fallen off the pace, but he's back in this. And there's still potential for 2 lucky loser positions.
And that was the climb that Tom mentioned, how important that final climb is to carry speed so you can get in behind someone's draft going into that final descent.
Okay, now we've got 2 Norwegians. That is Evensen and Vika leading here into this corner. Evensen with control there, but look at that. Kia Ketty,
he looks
trying
so
to hold his
relaxed.
spot.
He looks so relaxed coming around the corner.
Kia
Just
Ketty,
hanging in the
though,
corners.
held his position, and now he's got a chance here to get that second spot.
And Avison has got this.
Evensen has got this, but then that second spot, Vika versus Kia Ketty. And it's a photo for second
and
and
it
third.
looks like the lucky losers are going to come from this heat, Steve.
I think
It
you're
was
right.
a much faster heat. They were spread out earlier on. So it looks like third and fourth might be safe to move on through.
Yeah, so the 2 Italians. So Barb, who looked like he was out when they came up to the top of the climb, looks like he's going to move on as a lucky loser position. So
Here's the replay. We'll probably get a chance to see that fall happen on the last climb later on here.
So this is the start. The 3 Norwegians get off to a clean start. They all go to that inside line. The 2 Italians at the back.
And again, they were just pushing the pace a little more here than semifinal number 1. And that's why we saw faster times this heat.
And here is the heartbreak corner. And this time we're going to watch them come out of the corner because Korseth, the 112, and Arnaud, the Frenchman, everything seems fine here. Everything seems fine.
Yeah, Korseth is in the lead there coming out of the corner into this climb. And so
everything seems fine.
it's something.
Oh,
there
Korseth.
it is. Oh.
I don't know, caught his wax and he goes over the skis.
Yeah, was there something in the track that the wax grabbed?
I don't know. But Arnaud, no fault of his own. He wasn't doing anything. He was just happened to be up behind Korseth, and his race was over right there. And I like this. This is where Kia Ketty holds his position. He
Exactly. He does
allow
not
him to
give
get cut
any
off.
space at all. He's taking that space up for that finishing straight. Really well skied that final corner.
Yeah, so 2 Italians there moving on.
And just, too bad on that fall.
Hey, our women's final for U23. Yasmin Kahara, who has been dominating all of her heats, and she was the top qualifier.
This is setting up very similar to our junior women's race.
That's correct. All good skiers, top skiers that we anticipated in the finale
Similar
here.
nations to that junior women's race. We got Finnish, Italian, Norwegian, Sweden.
That's correct. That's right. Those were the countries involved in that junior women's final. Also in there, so Nicole Monsorno, the Italian national sprint champion. Sigrid Foyen from Norway. Gulbrandsen, also of Norway. Fosnes of Norway. And Moa Hansen, who last year at the World Under-23 Championships in Norway won the gold medal in the skate sprint. And this is important for the Swedes. The Swedes, the senior team, the senior women's team is so dominant in sprinting.
Oh, on the World Cup right now, Steve, they are almost unbeatable, except for yesterday's sprint race when Skistad won. But other than that, the Swedish women have been so strong, so dominant on the World Cup.
So there is Moa Hansen.
Can she repeat?
Can she repeat? That is the question for her. But she's got to be happy again to be in the spot She struggled early in the season, but she is on good form. Then we've got number 3. That is Fosnes of Norway. She took a gold in the relay last year for U23s, the women. Sorry, for the mixed U23 relay.
And we have Foyen, qualified 4th. And we can't rule out Kahara. Fastest qualifier, leads from the start every heat.
Yeah, I gotta
Will she be able to lead the whole race?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Kahara is my favorite for the finale. So the skiers are getting ready. So just a little more on Sigrid Foyen, kinesiology student, and she is a past Norwegian junior champion in the sprint. Gulbrandsen from northern Norway. And also an interesting thing was in the recent Scandinavian Cup, Foyen took a 5th place ahead of Skistad, who won the classic sprint on the World Cup yesterday.
Exactly. So she is showing some of the form that she has there with that result.
Yeah, this is another all-star final.
Anyone could take it, really, Steve. Anyone.
There's Fosnes right there, number 3. Yeah, and she was recently 8th at the Senior Norwegian National Championships in the skate sprint. So all these skiers are just there on peak form.
And so what we're seeing here is there's usually a coach or a tech in that starting area, just making sure there's no snow stuck in the skier's boots so that when they put their boot onto their binding, there's no interference whatsoever and they have good, clean contact onto that ski.
There's Monsorno, the Italian national sprint champion. She took that just over a week ago.
And she looks strong in the quarters and semis.
All the skiers being called up to the start line. This is the women's U23 World Championship Classic Sprint Final.
One of these women is going to walk away world champion.
So that is Sigrid Foyen. This is Yasmin Kahara, Beijing Olympian. There is number 12, Monsorno, the Italian national champion. And there is Fosnes of Norway, Kristen Fosnes. And Moa Hansen, world U23 champion in the skate sprint. Last year, struggled early in the season.
Can she do it in the classic sprint?
Can she do it? Can she repeat? But Yasmin Kahara, the class so far of this sprint tournament, competed at the Beijing Olympics. Can she take a world championship in U23s? And they're underway
like
here.
A clean start there.
U23 Women's Championship Sprint Final. Kahara trying to get the lead there, but that was number 6. That was Gulbrandsen taking it out here. And again, the Norwegians trying to get that inside, very steep line, but Kahara staying up front, trying to control things.
Lead. She wants to just be out front the whole way.
Interesting, using the herringbone technique, maybe going with a little bit less wax, but there, Kahara starting to take charge. The Beijing Olympian, a number of top 20 finishes on the World Cup, starting to pull away. This is what she did in the quarterfinals and the semifinals. The Norwegians, 3 Norwegians trying to hold the pace. Also Monsorno in 5th. The Swede skier, Moa Hansen, just falling off the pace.
Exactly, but it's still early in this race, Steve. A lot can happen, so don't rule her out.
Kahara, look at the strength, look at the technique, Tim.
She's going for it. Just leading from the front, pushing that pace the whole way.
And she still looks somewhat relaxed as she pushes the pace. Only ones to respond, really, Fosnes and Foyen of Norway. Monsorno, the Italian champion, just falling off the pace. Kahara leading into Heartbreak Corner. Okay, Kahara leading through Heartbreak Corner.
Oh, little stumble! And they all stay upright, stretched out in a single file line here as they come up into the final rise. Kahara still leading.
Kahara pushing the pace, leading every heat. Fosnes trying to hold the pace. Foyen gritting her teeth in third. And here comes Moa Hansen in fourth.
I said don't rule her out, and she's moving up here.
Descending into the stadium, this little chicane, and then to the descent of the stadium. Kahara in the blue for Finland. Then we've got Fosnes number 3, Foyen number 4. Moa Hansen sitting 4th spot in the Swedish suit. They descend to the stadium.
The stadium. They're gonna try and tuck as long as possible until they go into double pole. Here we go. This is gonna be all out, Steve.
Kahara leading it out.
Can she maintain that lead?
Kahara going for a gold medal, but trying to move up on the inside. That is Fosnes from Norway. Kahara, who has led every single heat in this tournament, leading into the final stretch. Number 3, Fosnes in second. Kahara, a dominating performance, but she's got to hold on in the last 100 meters. And here comes Fosnes on the outside, but it's gonna be Yasmin Kahara of Finland, U23 world champion. Fosnes, the silver, and I think Foyen, the bronze, Tim.
Oh, man, that finish. Wax Room must be celebrating with the junior women gold and the U23 women gold. Wow.
The power of Yasmin Kahara. Gasping for oxygen, she led every single heat that she raced. She pushed the pace, and she delivered with a U23 World Championship. Norway in second and third, Moa Hansen from Sweden in fourth, Monsorno in fifth, Gulbrandsen from Norway in sixth. Look at the smile.
Wow, she is pumped, and yeah, that was an amazing race.
Kahara, she controlled every heat. And again, as you mentioned, the Finnish Wax Techs must be very happy. 2 gold medals for Finland on the first weekend. The junior women with Tosavainen and the U23 women with Kahara.
And it just goes to show the fitness of those 2 women who led every single heat.
That's correct. They both used the exact same strategy, and they got the exact same result. A world championship. There's your top 3. In the middle, Yasmin Kahara. On the left, with the silver medal, Fosnes. And on the right, Foyen with the bronze. Your U23 sprint medalists here at the FIS U23 World Ski Championships in Whistler Olympic Park. The sun shining on 3 very fast skiers. What a race and what a sprint tournament for Yasmin Kahara and the Finnish team.
Exactly, Steve. What? Yeah, some amazing skiing there. And we got one more race to come yet.
Okay, now we have the men's final coming up shortly. But that women's final.
I'll just ask you about your day.
Kahara, you know, I was wondering, is she just gonna die at the finish? Because she had to keep up that pace. She pushed right through the stadium.
Every climb, just pushing, maxing, trying to break the group, and it worked for her. She was able to maintain that lead all the way through to the stadium.
Okay, we're just gonna get a quick word from Tom down by the ski track.
I'm here with Yasmin, the World Junior U23 winner. How did it feel today?
Amazing. I have been waiting for this for many years, and it was a perfect day.
That's awesome. Yeah, the weather looked really nice. How it factored into the decision? It looked like you went pretty early on every race. Just talk me through why you decided to do that.
Yeah, I wanted to be in the front and do my best and ski as fast as possible, and yeah, I'm happy for winning this race.
Yeah, well, congratulations.
Yeah, that was a great interview with our World U23 champion, Yasmin Kahara.
And as she said, a perfect day. She raced every single heat perfectly, just leading from the front all the way through to the finish.
She controlled it all, and she delivered. Okay, moving on to our men's U23 World Championship Sprint Final. Evensen of Norway, Irsen from Sweden, Danielsen from Sweden, Vika, Norway, Chiocchetti, and Barp from Italy. 2 Italians, 2 Norwegians, 2 Swedes. Emil Danielsen, his brother, took a silver medal yesterday for the junior men. Can he equal or better his brother?
Yeah, that will be exciting.
That is one of the Italians. That is Chiocchetti. Chiocchetti recently 4th in the National Italian Senior Championships in the Classic Sprint. He had a 6th at the recent Opa Cup in Oberstdorf, Germany. Last year, look at the improvement, Tim. Last year, he was 45th in the skate sprint. So great job for 102 Chiocchetti to move into the final here. Huge improvement over last year. Then we've got 111, Elia Barp, who snuck into the final as a lucky loser. And again, it's, you know, he snuck in, but anything can happen in a classic sprint.
Exactly.
There's 106, Jonas Vika. He's competed on the World Cup this year. So Jonas Vika, more of a distance skier, but he's made it to the final. Then we've got 103, Evensen.
Yes, and he is my favorite for today, and here he is in the final. And so he had a great result, 6th place in a World Cup earlier this season.
And recently, top result in the Norwegian National Championships.
That's correct.
In the sprint, it was the skate sprint. So he's on good form.
And so I think, for me, he's the one to beat today.
And then 104, you can see him there at the center of your screen. Emil Danielsen, his younger brother, Elias Danielsen, took the silver medal yesterday. They come from a club about 2 hours north of Stockholm. I am sure that club, 2 hours north of Stockholm, are on the edges of their seats right now watching this broadcast. Can he get a medal like his younger brother did yesterday? And then George Irsen, 105 from Sweden.
That semifinal played out so similar to how their junior men final did, with their double pulling around that final corner, Steve.
So that is Emil Danielsen from Sweden, 103. Evensen from Norway, 105. Irsen of Sweden, 106. Vika of Norway. Chiocchetti of Italy, 102. And Elia Barp from Italy, 111. Those are the gladiators entering the ring for a shot at a World U23 Championship here at Whistler Olympic Park. The sun shining down on our final race of the day here on day 2. Oh, they're getting called back from the start. Again, they have to be motionless before the starter.
Yeah, that plays with the nerves there. You're up at the line ready to go, and they call you back. Like, oh, never a good feeling.
Called to the start again. Men's final is underway here at the World U23 Championships at Whistler Olympic Park. And Earson once again gets the big start. Earson 105 from Sweden with the big double pole start. He double poles quite a way up the climb, and then he breaks into a quick sprint up this climb, up the steep section.
And there's Evanson right behind him. What I love about Evanson, he's just so relaxed when he skis. I'm sure he's saving something for that final double pole finish.
And there is Danielson, 104, moving up on the outside. And this is really interesting. Earson, who's leading right now as his teammate just starts to overtake him, didn't have the strongest results this year. He had a 15th in the Scandinavian Cup in December, but he is here. He is in the final.
And look at them go up that climb. They were going so slow and relaxed, and now they're just going for it.
The attack from Evensen of Norway. He's pushing the pace. He's going right now. Evensen making a charge here, pulling
look at
away.
That gap he has up over that climb.
Unreal acceleration by Evensen. A massive gap going into Heartbreak Corner in our men's U23 World Championship final. Heartbreak Corner. The first safely through.
It looks like all of them safely through. Can they close this gap now on Emerson? Can they do it on this final climb?
Earson trying to lead the charge here, double pulling up that small uphill climb.
Danielson's fighting for it as well.
Danielson in that third spot right now. Can he get a medal like his brother? But Evensen.
Look at that gap he has.
Evensen far out in front. The Norwegian leading this race. Can anyone catch him on the final double pole section? He was the junior world champion in the sprint in 2020. Can he take a U23 world championship? Earson leading the charge. Danielson moving to the outside.
Swedes double pole. They're coming back, Steve. They're coming back.
So Evensen leading around the corner. A junior world champion in the sprint, going for a U23 world championship. Danielson and Earson battling for second, but Evensen attacking on the climb, pulling away. Evensen is going to be a U23 world champion and second place to match his brother. Danielson, it's a photo with Earson, but he's going to take a medal like his brother. But Evensen, Tim attacking on the climb, pulling away and taking a world championship in the U23 category like he took in the junior category 3 years ago.
Steve, that turnover and speed at the top of the course where he started to make that gap was unreal. He was so relaxed before that, and all of a sudden a switch went on, and off he went.
He's not even out of breath. What a race. Norway got shut out of the men's medals yesterday, but they made up for it today. Evensen, a U23 World Championship to match his junior World Championship in 2020. That was in the skate. Here he does it in the classic still photo.
But yeah, who is second and who's third? Did the brothers walk away with silver medals?
Matching silver medals. At 103, Evensen, your champion here in Whistler, atop the world at Whistler Olympic Park.
And bib 106 there, Jonas Vik, again, more of a distance skier in that final. He is one to watch for in that classic mass start on Tuesday.
Right, that's a good point. That's coming up. The junior men and women race the 20K mass start tomorrow, and then on Tuesday, it will be the U23 men, and definitely Jonas Vika, one to watch.
Exactly.
But right now,
his form is there being in this final, but again, Evensen with that win. What a performance out there, Steve.
We're still waiting on a decision there between Earson and Danielson. I believe Earson may have caught it, but it was super close. Not going to call it. But Danielson's going to walk away with a medal like his younger
Looks
brother
like
did
unofficially
yesterday.
Earson got second.
So they're just letting Earson know that he is second. That massive double pole start, massive double pole finish lets him take home a silver medal. And Danielson taking home a medal like his brother did yesterday. I mean, Earson, not really strong results this season, but he peaked for the World U23
I was not expecting him
Championships.
in this final at all when we were looking ahead, but he definitely proved his fitness today.
There's something about Swedish men and the Vancouver, the Whistler Olympic Park. They did so well at the 2010 Olympics, and they're doing so well here.
Is it the sunshine? Is it the snow? What is it about Whistler and the Swedish men?
That's right. Okay, so it does look like the official call is Earson with the silver and Danielson with the bronze. Jonas Vika 4th, Elia Bart 5th, Kiaketi 6th. But Avenson, just on that second rise, on the big climb, all of a sudden turns on the jets,
And he was
no
just
one
gone.
could stay with him. No one could stay with him.
No one could stay with him, and no one could reel him in.
Danielson smiling that he's got a medal. You know, going home and his younger brother has a medal. Can you imagine how hard that would be? And he doesn't.
Yeah.
So he's bringing home a medal.
But remember, Steve, this is only day 2 of the competition. There could be more medals these brothers could be bringing home.
And I like how they moved them around because they had them not on quite the right side for the silver for 105 and the bronze for 104 Danielson. But a great finale. But Avenson, kind of like Kahara, really dominant in that final, the final heat, the finals, pulling away. And there we go, Yasmin Kahara dominating her heats, pulling away and taking a U23 World Championship. Fasnes from Norway in second, Foyen from Norway in third with the bronze. Moa Hansen just off.
But good
the medals.
result for her after winning last year in the skate sprint. She showing that she is a strong sprinter, even in the classic technique.
That's correct. Monsorno, the Italian champion, in 5th, and Gulbrandsen in 6th for the women. So we're gonna have some highlights for you coming up shortly, but Tim, just to let our viewers know, the mass start for the junior men and women is tomorrow.
Yes, that is 20 kilometers. They will be doing 4 laps of a 5K course out there.
And then on Tuesday, it will be the men and the women U23 doing the mass start. But here is our men's sprint final. Avenson, a dominant, massive performance, attacking on the final climb, on the big climb, and taking the gold medal. And Earson with the silver and Danielson with the bronze. 2 Swedes on the podium. So Tim, just looking at the finish here, we've got Kahara winning the World Championship.
And just, again, going out strong every single heat, winning the qualifier to start with, and then just going out strong every single heat.
On the celebration from Avenson.
But how he turned that jetpack on at the top of the course was just unreal.
Another beautiful day here in Whistler. With some great skiing today. Awards coming up. Yeah, so they're just going to get set up for the medals. It'll take a few minutes as the results are reviewed and so forth. Take a little while before we do the presentation of the medals, but and we're gonna try and get it caught up with our men's winners shortly. We'll try and go down to Tom to talk to our men's champion. But another Bluebird day, Tim, here at Whistler Olympic Park.
Yeah, you could not have asked for better weather for a day of classic sprint racing.
A little cooler, not slushy,
Yeah.
just the right temperature. Okay, we're going to send it down to Tom in the corral with our men's winner.
I'm here with Ansgar, the World Junior U23 champion. And today, how was your day? I know sprinting can be a lot of ups and downs, but take me through a little bit of it.
Yeah, today was a really good day. I felt great the whole time, maybe except a little bit in the beginning of the prologue. But yeah, all the finals were really fun and my body was in good shape. So, and this nice weather, it was just awesome to race today.
Awesome, yeah. Were you saving a bit for the last heat? Because we know that you really turned on that last gear and you really took away. So yeah, were you saving a bit for that?
Yeah, I was. I tried to get the first two finals as cheap as possible, and then when we got to the top in the final, I just went for it, and it went all the way in. So.
And how does it feel to be a world champion in U23?
Yeah, that's really good. Really cool, and it's been one of my goals this year, so it was good to do it. Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I love how Avinson said, I try to take the first two heats as cheap as possible.
Well, and we saw that in his skiing. He was just so relaxed, so calm in those first two heats. It looked like he was skiing effortlessly.
So we're gonna take a look back at the entire men's race from the start. But yeah, you know, it was really cool to see how he saved his energy, and really the last half of the last heat, the final, he really put it out there. So they're just getting ready for the award ceremony, but you can see that Irson leading out as he did every time with that massive double pole. And you can see how Irson, he double poles quite a way up the hill, and then he breaks into that really quick stride. But the Norwegians always taking the inside.
Same strategy for those Norwegians. But here, this is where you can see just how relaxed Avinson is. And when he said skiing as cheap as possible, he's not using any more energy than he has to just stay there.
So they're just on that first stage of that climb. Then there's a little bit of a plateau, and you can see the man in red in the middle of your screen, seeming very relaxed. And then they come to the second part of that climb. Everything seems relaxed, everything's relaxed, and then all of a sudden,
boom, a switch is turned on, and look at him go and accelerate.
That is the Ansgar boom right there.
No one could go with him.
Ansgar lit the TNT and just instantly opened up 10, 15 meters.
And that was the race. No one could come back to him.
No one could respond at all, and that allowed him to control through Heartbreak Corner. You can see him just skid around the corner, control it.
Ski it safely, ski the other corner safely, and save just enough for that finishing straight.
So there he's got about 10 meters, 15 meters, and he double poles that little rise. And at this point, it looked like maybe the Swedes could get back into it.
But I think he was just carrying a little more speed over the top of that climb into that descent, which allowed that gap to remain.
And you can see he pushed the pace over top, because at this point, now his lead is stretching significantly. Then he can control that tight corner.
Can control, can be a little more relaxed, you know, save a little bit, maybe one or two less double poles than his competitors, and save it for that final finish. And here he's turning it on again.
Looked like he just took a look over his shoulder. He knows he's got a gap, but then the Swedes start coming. You've got Irson on the inside, Danielson on the outside, closing the gap a little bit, but no problem for Avinson to control around that corner. And then you've got Irson leading that second spot, leading Danielson, and then he looks over his shoulder to make sure, and he celebrates.
It's really important there. He looked over both shoulders, Steve. You know, we saw Clebo once on the World Cup. Look over his shoulder, thought he had it, and someone passed him on the other side.
Bolshinov passed him, yes. So the Norwegian team has learned from that. If there's one thing they've learned is look over both shoulders. And look at the hugs there from the Norwegians.
And as he said, that was one of his goals, was to win today, and you can check that off his list.
So he's got a junior world championship in the skate sprint from 2020 in Germany.
and now a U23 World Championship here from Whistler. So Tim, let's take a look back at the women's race, start to finish. And again, not quite the same strategy as Amundsen, but the same strategy throughout the heats here.
Exactly. Kahara just going strong right off the bat. There was less of this cat and mouse back and forth throughout the course.
Yeah, so there was just this section where Gulbrandsen takes the lead.
But as soon as they come around this left corner, Kahara just comes back, takes control, and the rest is history. She's our gold medalist from today.
Yeah, right here, it's kind of even, but you can see the power here, the fitness. Kahara just keeps pushing, whereas Gulbrandsen, you can see, start to just struggle a bit. And look at Kahara. That is, Tim, that is the technique you wanna mimic.
Exactly, just skiing beautifully, so strong, so in control, up over the top of the course.
Yeah, kids, you want to watch this. Just watch this over and over again. And you know, at this point, she's not even gritting her teeth, right? Like, she is staying relaxed, she's breathing well.
She's pushing hard too, but just showing that fitness level.
Not a single missed stride on that climb. Still leading.
Skiing with purpose. Every pole plant, every stride with her leg has purpose to it.
And then she leads. This allows her to control things through Heartbreak Corner.
Again, she had in one of the heats that little slip up in the corner, so making sure she doesn't make her ski go perpendicular. So makes it around there safely and continues to lead as those Norwegian women are trying to hunt her down.
Yeah, and there we get just a little bit of a struggle there to keep the wax gripping. Then she starts gasping for oxygen over the top of the climb, but she knows at that point she's going to get some rest, and you can see one of the Italian coaches really cheering on.
It's so important at this point in the race to really think about accelerating over top of that hill as you come into that final descent.
Because you know you're going to get some recovery. That section, you can really relax, but then you've got this corner to descend into the stadium. And she's got a good 10-15 meters coming into the stadium.
Nice low tuck, being as arrow as possible.
But this is where the two Norwegians start, and you can just see the Norwegians, the Finns, really working the double pole and getting the power on top of the poles, getting that power straight down. Kahara gasping for oxygen. Fosnes knowing she's in control there in second spot. Kahara, 100 meters, heading towards a gold medal, but then there was that charge from Fosnes. You're wondering, could she make it up? But Kahara.
It was only right here where you saw Kahara fade ever so slightly, but she had such a demanding lead that it didn't really matter.
And you know what? Kahara never looked back. She went right to the finish line and then threw her foot across the line.
And you can see how exhausted, how much she gave out there, lying on the snow after the finish.
She had this little tiny celebration and then collapsed to the ground. Like, she gave it everything, every heat. She kept it in control, and she is taking home to Finland a U23 World Championship from absolutely beautiful Whistler Olympic Park here in British Columbia, in the middle of the Callahan Valley. We're gonna have the medal ceremonies coming up.
So Steve, I haven't seen any official start list yet, but you know, any men, women racing today, if they are racing on Tuesday, their focus now is recovery.
Right.
Getting ready. It's 20 kilometers. It's going to be a long, grueling race out there. They need to think about how getting food in them, going for a little ski, getting their muscles moving, getting a change of clothes, and focusing on Tuesday's race.
And that'll be a Mass Start Classic race, 20K, and it's 20K for all the categories.
That's correct.
Men and women, this is equal distance, and this is really interesting, Tim, about the equal distances. So at the end of last season, the FIS decided we were going to have equal distances. But the World Championships, and Polonisa said, we're not ready. We've constructed our courses, so forth, for non-equal distances, but the organizational committee here at in Whistler for these Junior and U23 World Championships immediately said, yes, we can do equal distances.
We are on board. We are going to follow.
So this is the first Junior and U23 World Ski Championships where the men and women in each age category are racing the same distances. We saw that in the sprint today.
Same distance and same course.
Yeah. So that's really cool. This is the first championship event at a world level where equal distances for the men and the women. So what a beautiful day. You know, this whole area, Whistler and the surrounding area, Squamish, just so beautiful. I mean, downhill, cross country, the summer, mountain biking, incredible mountain biking.
Yeah, some people have nicknamed Whistler as the mountain bike capital of the world. And so not only do we have amazing cross-country skiing, like you said, downhill skiing, but there's also amazing mountain biking in the whole North Shore, Vancouver, Squamish, Whistler area.
So just a note on the incredible sponsors of this event, like just so many great sponsors. And today the main sponsor, Salmon, they've got their great equipment. We were trying out some of the Salmon equipment the other day. So fast. You know, I find if someone asks me, what should I buy for boots? What should I buy for skis? Very quickly, I say Salmon. But we also got some other great sponsors. Coast Outdoors, which is Western Canada's premier Nordic specialty retail store. And if you're on site, the Coast team is going to be here all week with Nordic ski clothing.
Here in this shot, you can see there's a couple flags there. There is a little market, so if people are at the race site, they can go cruise the market, check out the latest gear.
Also,
probably purchase a few things.
Rossignol generously supplied all the volunteers with those attractive jackets
The
that
jackets
we've been
we're wearing
right now and wearing on screen. Take a look at their lineup of clothing, skis, and boots. Also Fisher, Swix, and Julbo, the trifecta of ski gear. You can't go wrong with Julbo eyewear, Fisher skis, and Swix waxes and tools. Yeah, so if you also, just talking about Whistler Olympic Park, Tim, just if you've never been here, I mean, you've probably seen it, whether you're watching the 2010 Olympics or just seen it now. It's just so beautiful. If you've ever been down here, you want to come check it out. Beautiful cross-country skiing, and they've done a great job here. You come down and you can ski on the trails that these guys raced on. Check this out, folks. Okay, those were some great images.
Yeah,
of
that
Whistler Olympic Park.
first little image there with the dog just jumping the snow. I love skiing with my dog, and that's one nice thing about the trails here is there's actually dog loops. You can actually come cross-country skiing with your dog. And then an awesome video of the Whistler Nordic Development Center here, biathlon team based out of Whistler training here. They did an awesome job showcasing their work that they do with Canadian Pacific Sport Institute.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, you can see that there's not only the biathlon range, but they have the ski treadmill, the gym, just a great venue. If you're training for biathlon, have these great trails and a venue like that. So just a great thing with that Whistler Nordic Development Center that they've got here.
And all those things are in place because of the 2010 Winter Olympics, that sport legacy left behind from the Olympics, that they have world-class biathlon facility, the world-class gym at the Whistler Athlete Center, and then the roller ski treadmill.
Yeah, we were even talking to Tom Stephen, who has been down trackside getting those interviews, and he said he wants to get on that ski treadmill just to check it out.
He might be roller skiing on it later today.
That's right. Yeah, so Tim, just talking a little bit about the next couple days. So this is just day 2 of 10 days of competition, and it's the cross-country events. We've also got coming up later in the week, ski jumping and Nordic combined. But coming up the next 2 days, we have the 20K mass starts.
Yes, and that's our longest distance out here for these championships. So 20 kilometers. They will be doing 4 laps of a 5K course. It is a mass start style, so everyone will be starting together. Yeah, so in the mass starts, a lot more tactics come into play. You know, it's not about going as hard as possible right from the start. There's going to be a lot more drafting, sitting in behind, conserving energy. Maybe some people will break away on some of the climbs, but that might be reeled back in. So there could be a lot of action tomorrow and Tuesday.
And we think about the course, as you talked about, it could be really close, but there is also another interesting descent on that longer course that, you know, it's one thing if you're first or second on that, what we're going to call the chicane descent back and forth, but if you're 20th, 25th spot, that makes it pretty hard. But at the same time, what we heard from some of the athletes is they love that stuff.
Yeah.
It's another dynamic to ski racing that you've got to learn, and some of the guys really love that stuff, but it adds an extra dimension to the racing and the excitement of the racing.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in a mass start race, you know, you're talking about there could be 20, 30 people all coming down the same hill together into that chicane downhill. And so there's going to be people snow plowing, putting on the brakes. And we saw last year at Nationals coming through there that there was people going over the edge, broken poles, broken skis. So a lot could happen in that descent with a big pack of skiers coming through.
And so that's the chicane descent on the 20K mass start course that we're going to start tomorrow with the junior men and women, and then on Tuesday with the U23 men and women. But how about a shout out to Heartbreak Corner? Heartbreak Corner has served its purpose for the sprints. We won't see that again. That was just part of the sprint course. The other courses will come into the stadium with that descent into the stadium, but you won't have that Heartbreak Corner that we saw
that 180-degree turn. Yeah, I was surprised. I thought Heartbreak Corner was going to take a few more victims, but it didn't take too many.
Yeah, it was actually other parts of the course today that were a bit of an issue, but I think we did see that one skier where their skis went perpendicular.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you were on top of the geometry there. But a few broken poles. We had the start gate issue. We're not sure if it was the start gate. We're probably not, but some start issues.
Couple broken poles. Couple like just grip wax grabbing something. The snow causing a few face plants out there. So, but that's all part of racing.
That's part of racing, yeah. But hats off, chapeau to Heartbreak Corner. Certainly for the junior race for adding some very interesting dynamics to the racing, and. Yeah, lots of excitement with these junior sprints and the U23 sprints over the last couple days. But those mass starts, I mean, think back, Tim, to the mass start races in the Vancouver Olympics. So there was the 30K for the women that Justina Kowalczyk won, and then there's the 50K for the men. So for those that remember, and you know what? If you want, go on YouTube. All those Olympic races are on YouTube. And the 30K mass start for the women, there was 3 skiers together. Then Justina Kowalczuk and Merit Bjorgen pulled away, and it came down to a sprint, very much like we saw here today and yesterday.
And that could happen tomorrow.
And that could happen tomorrow.
It could be a sprint race within a 20-kilometer race.
I think I'm going to expect that. And, of course, Justina Kowalczuk winning that sprint and becoming a hero of polar skiing and inspiring a couple of the racers, the Polish racers here.
I believe she has coached them in the past.
Yeah, she coached Marcisz and Skinder, who were in the heats today, and they'll be racing the mass start. And then the men's 50K mass start, you may recall Devin Kershaw, the Canadian in 5th, and a very close sprint finale where Northug pulled away for Norway and got the win. Very dramatic finish in the 50K mass start. So that's something to look forward to the next 2 days.
The mass start, the final corner, final descent that we were seeing in the sprint course, that is what's going to come into play when they're coming to the finish. If there is a group together, you're going to be tired, your legs are going to be shaky, and if there's a group of skiers coming into that final descent, pushing into the stadium, we could see some carnage there.
Yeah, it's definitely a different type of sprint at the end of a mass start race. Like, this is much more fast twitch, whereas that longer race, you've got to somehow manage your energy, and it's a different kind of speed that you need at the end of a race.
And so we'll also see athletes taking feeds. So there'll be coaches, support staff on the side of the trail with either bottles of Gatorade or some other electrolyte mix that they'll be giving to these racers so that they can maintain energy levels throughout that 20-kilometer race.
Somewhat legal.
Yeah, so just some other dynamics that you're going to see, and definitely you're going to see a lot of similarities. Not quite the same, but similarities to those Olympic courses for the mass start. And then coming up later in the week for the cross country, the interval start, the 5K for the interval start, the 5K loop, will be exactly the 5K course they used in the Olympic.
Yeah, they're skiing
races.
10 kilometers though, Steve.
Skating 10 kilometers. That's right, 2 laps. Okay, so we're going to go down to our medal ceremonies, and we're going to listen to the PA announcer, Randy, do the award ceremony.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Whistler Olympic Park and the FIS Nordic Junior U23 World Ski Championships for the award ceremony of the cross country U23 Sprint Classic Women.
Bonjour et bienvenue au Parc olympique de Whistler pour les championnats du monde junior et U23. FIS de ski nordique pour la cérémonie des vainqueurs du ski de fond U23 Sprint Classique Femmes.
The medals will be presented by
Les médailles seront remises par
Mr. Mikko Rantanen, Technical Delegate, FIS, accompanied by
accompagné par
Mr. Norman Laube, Chair, Black Tusk Nordic Events Society. In 6th place, representing Norway,
en 6e place représentant la Norvège,
Ingrid Gulbrandsen. In 5th place, representing Italy,
en 4e place, 5e place représentant l'Italie,
Nicole Monsorno. In 4th place, representing Sweden,
en 4e place représentant la Suède,
Moa Hansson. Bronze medalist representing Norway,
la médaille de bronze représentant la Norvège,
Sigrid Lesset Føyen. the silver medalist representing Norway,
La médaille d'argent représentant la Norvège,
Kristin Oskulin Fosnes. The FIS gold medalist and FIS U23 world champion for 2023 in cross country from Finland.
votre médaillée d'or et championne du monde 2023 représentant la Finlande,
Yasmin Kahara. The gifts will be given by
les cadeaux seront présentés par
Mr. Robert Lazzaroni, Nordic Director, North America, Salomon. And now, in honor of the world champion, let's hear the national anthem of Finland.
en l'honneur de notre championne du monde, l'hymne national de la Finlande.
One more time, your applause for our winners.
De nouveau, vos applaudissements pour nos gagnants.
Congratulations, félicitations. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with us for the award ceremony of the men's competition coming right up in a few moments.
Alors restez des nôtres pour la cérémonie des vainqueurs des hommes qui débutera dans quelques instants.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Whistler Olympic Park and to the FIS Nordic Junior U23 World Ski Championships for the award ceremony of the cross-country U23 Sprint Classic Men.
Bonjour et bienvenue au Parc olympique de Whistler pour les championnats du monde junior U23 FIS de ski nordique pour la cérémonie des vainqueurs du ski de fond U23 Sprint Classique chez les hommes.
The medals will be presented by
Les médailles seront remises par
Mr. Mikko Rantanen, Technical Delegate, FIS. Accompanied by
accompagné par
Mr. Norman Laube, Chair, Black Tusk Nordic Events Society. In sixth place, representing Italy,
en 6e place, représentant l'Italie,
Alessandro Ciocchetti. In fifth place, representing Italy,
en 5e place, représentant l'Italie,
Elia Barp. In fourth place, representing Norway,
en 4e place, représentant la Norvège,
Jonas Vika. The bronze medalist representing Sweden,
la médaille de bronze représentant la Suède,
Emil Danielsson. The silver medalist representing Sweden,
le médaillé d'argent représentant la Suède,
George Ersson. The FIS gold medalist and 2023 FIS U23 world champion for cross country representing Norway,
votre médaillé d'or et champion du monde 2023 représentant la Norvège,
Ansgar Evansson. The gifts will be presented by
les cadeaux seront présentés par
Mr. Robert Lazzaroni, Nordic Director for North America, Salomon. And now, in honor of our world champion, let's hear the national anthem of Norway.
Et maintenant, en l'honneur de notre champion du monde, l'hymne national de la Norvège.
One more time, your applause for our winners.
À nouveau, vos applaudissements pour nos gagnants.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes. Here at Whistler Olympic Park. Please join us tomorrow as we'll go into our distance and
Okay, so here's the highlights from our women's final. So this is Kahara, number 1 in blue, leading it out, as she did in all of her heats.
Exactly, Steve. Every single heat just went out strong from the start, dominated quarters, semis, and then the finals.
Just beautiful skiing up the long climb out of the stadium.
Which, again, in sprint racing, with slightly different tactics in the women than the men, and that's the nice thing about sprint racing is you have to be ready to adapt. You know, sometimes skiers are going to go out strong from the start and lead. Other times there's going to be a little more cat and mouse, and you never know in sprint racing what the tactics are going to be in those heats.
And this is the final section, that final 180-degree turn into the final 100 meters. Kahara holding on,
giving everything she has, crosses that line, celebrates, and falls down onto the snow to try and recover.
Vosnes with the silver, Foyen with the bronze. And look at that smile. She's been to the Olympics. She's had some good results in the World Cup, but now a U23 World Ski Champion. Yasmin Kahara of Finland. And there's the rest of your top 6. Vosnes in second, Foyen in third, Moa Hansen of Sweden, 4th, Monsono, the Italian national champion, in 5th. Gudbranson, an early leader in that final heat, finishes up in 6th spot. So we're gonna take one more look at the men here. This is 103 Ansgar Evensen.
And it was interesting here. 105 Urson went for the lead right off the start. He did that every single heat that he was in, powered his way to the front. Still ended up with a silver medal, 2nd place, but this was the highlight of that final for the men. Just the turbo booster that Evensen put on that top of the course.
Evensen lighting the TNT there, opening up 10 meters very quickly, allows him to safely be through that heartbreak corner.
We thought for a second here that the 2 Swedes would actually reel him back in on that final climb, but he just had a little too much.
And there is that last straightaway before the final turn into the finish. Evensen well out in front. The question was 2nd and 3rd. 2nd by the narrowest of margins going to Earson 105, and on the left of your screen, Emil Danielsson taking a bronze medal.
The 2 brothers.
The Danielsson brothers. Swedish for brothers, bror.
Okay.
The 2 brors taking home medals. One in the U23
silver,
and one in the junior.
A silver and a bronze.
And there's your podium. Evensen said it was one of his goals this season, and he delivered. And the Swedes very happy to be taking home medals. It was 1st and 2nd for Sweden in the junior men. It's 2nd and 3rd for Sweden in the U23 men. Jonas Vika, 4th.
A name to look for in that 20K mass start for the U23s on Tuesday.
Elia Barp in 5th for Italy, and Chiocchetti from Italy in 6th. That's your top 6. Another day of great racing, Tim. Day 2 of 10 days of competition. The mass start races start tomorrow. The junior men and junior women race 20K, and then Tuesday, the U23 men and women also race 20K. Gonna be extremely exciting. We expect some more close finishes in those races.
And know what, like that last shot that we saw of just the mountain with the blue sky, it's looking like that again for tomorrow. Just another beautiful day of racing. It makes things so much easier for classic technique when the temperatures stay below 0, track can be nice and firm, and that sun is shining.
So the mass start races, that gonna looks like we're gonna see some of that in the mass start races, just like those highlights there. They're gonna start for our regional broadcast at 9:50 Pacific time. That will be our first 20K mass start race, and the world broadcast at 1800 Greenwich time, I believe. So a great day of racing here at Whistler Olympic Park. 2 world champions declared, more racing to come. We'll see you tomorrow.